Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Bros Think Big podcast. This is a show where we talk about the simple and yet complicated ideas of self-improvement. Tune in and join us as we become the best versions of ourselves just so that you guys can too. And always remember to like and subscribe for more. Did you know that poor diet is the leading cause to early death? And for that reason, that is why we're going to be talking about processed foods. We got this idea from a comment from a long time ago, and we decided to bring in former personal trainer, member that went to the gym we go to ourselves, Jesse, back on for the podcast. If you haven't seen his first episode, I highly recommend going back to that and checking it out. Once again, Jesse, thank you so much for coming here in the first place.
Thank you for having me.
It's nice to have you back.
Hello.
Yeah, let's just jump right into it. I mean, for starters, everybody knows processed food is unhealthy, it's addicting, it's bad for you, right? This isn't a secret to anybody, but we're going to talk about why people are struggling to hop off of that chain and also how you can do that immediately and break down the whole topic as a whole.
First things off, listener question from Mo. Shout out Mo. Commented, first question, what's considered non-processed food? Anything that doesn't have a million ingredients in it? What's the actual definition, Justin?
So, according to the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, I typed it out, processed foods include any food that has been deliberately changed in some way before consumption. That's a processed food.
Yes. Now, processed doesn't necessarily mean bad thing. For example, applesauce is a processed food.
I will go into. I'm gonna basically break
King will go into it. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Matter of fact,
Not you.
King,
Josh,
King,
you
please.
start with applesauce. That's not where it starts. It doesn't start with applesauce.
Because the word processed isn't where fucking applesauce belongs in that category. You're right. King,
Right,
please,
okay,
start.
Wait, might as well mute all our mics and let him speak.
Actually, yeah,
Okay.
go ahead and put the
For
mics down, guys.
context, all this happened is they said, is Josh gonna be home? And I said, Daddy's home. And they call me King. Where's King come from? Anyway.
King, start.
All right, so we're gonna break it down in very simple 4 categories. We're gonna call it NOVA, and what NOVA stands for, just so you understand, we were very confused at first, stands for nurturing, opportunities, values, accountability, and just think of NOVA as just like a classification. So NOVA 1, and I'm gonna use an apple as the example. NOVA 1 consists of an apple straight out of a tree. Absolutely nothing changed with it. It's the most purest form of the food. It's natural as it can be. The NOVA 2 is apple slices. It's the stem. Yeah, stem. The stem is deseeded, so something changed. You cut the slices. He made a good point, which is now it's breathing air, it can turn a little brown.
Exactly.
Something changed with the food. It's not at its complete natural form.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's NOVA 3, which is applesauce. Think of it as any food that's cooked, macerated, possibly a preservative added, maybe or maybe not extra sugar. So something additionally was most likely added to make it. It's still very pure to its original form, but still there's a difference. And for your information, NOVA 1 and 3 is linked to absolutely no metabolic diseases whatsoever. No chronic metabolic disease. Very important.
So
Chronic.
they're the healthiest versions.
They're the
so to
healthiest
speak.
versions. NOVA 4 is where all the diseases come. And think of this as a McDonald's apple pie. It's not an apple anymore. It's 5% apple and 95% chemicals.
God knows what.
Yeah, God knows what goes into it. But just to put in perspective how common NOVA 4 is, it was a study done, and 73% of the average American grocery store consists of NOVA 4 food.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
That's
lot.
a lot of food.
73%.
Mm-hmm. So,
Fuck.
yeah,
That's all I gotta
exactly.
say.
That's why it's so hard to
Shit.
pick out good food from a market,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Why do you think you get so many headaches? I'll tell you why. It's pretty simple.
Mm-hmm. But that's why it's important to note that processed foods itself isn't necessarily the problem. It's ultra processed. Processed is just the label it's been given. Like NOVA 4, all the stages, they're just other ways to word it. But again, what you really have to be looking out for is ultra processed, of course, and that's where the McDonald's apple pie lies, and literally any other
So anything
garbage you could think
McDonald's.
of. Yes.
I think you brought up a very interesting point because I didn't actually think about that. Because I feel like a lot of the times when people hear processed food, they just think about McDonald's food. At least that's how I thought about it. But now that you classified it, it's just more clear that cut apples isn't necessarily a bad processed food, even though it's labeled as a processed food.
Yeah.
But ultra processed food such as McDonald's and fast food places, and added artificial sugar and all those kind of stuff are bad, but not the actual classified processed food such as cut apples.
Yeah, and like the reason why that's important is sometimes when you'll see like on apple pie labels that it says it's processed, and that will steer people away from going and buying that product or whatever. Right now, yes, like an apple pie still has sugar and it has like trash calories, whatever, right? The difference is that a normal, regular apple pie is still going to be bread, sugar, yeast, whatever, like just the plain normal shit, right? Nothing ultra processed, because ultra processed realistically just means it's a food that is came from ingredients being put together. That's why when you look at the ingredient label, it's 70 different things, opposed to just like a regular apple pie, which should just like a legitimate one should have like 5, 6, 7 ingredients. Exactly. That's the difference. How many does it have? I don't know how much an apple pie has.
Almost all yeast. It's not all yeast, but yeast most likely has.
Well, homemade. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if it's homemade. I'm sorry. Were you saying homemade?
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, I'm not. Yeah, definitely more than 7 ingredients. But I'm getting your point.
Mm-hmm. The reason why I was saying that though is because when people see the label processed, that's what they think to, and they say, okay, I should stay away from it. But the reality is not all processed foods are as bad.
Exactly.
I'll quote by saying as bad for you. The ultra processed foods is why we brought this topic up in the first place. That's cancer. Stay away from it.
Yeah.
Just really. So I want to start by asking Jesse, because you were a former personal trainer, and a personal trainer should know that it's 70% diet or like to like 30% actually working out. How many of your clients do you remember, like, would you ask them were eating that type of shit?
Diet is definitely a huge part of it, and they had a lot of trouble just like doing stuff outside the gym. Like they could come in and be on autopilot and do all of their workout easy breezy. But at the same time, that's only 1 hour of their day or 30 minutes of their day. So when it comes to the dietary aspect, all I can do is just give them the tools and hope that they can read the instructions enough to put the item together.
See if they're the ones that follow through with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And when the clients wouldn't follow that, what would you notice, like, about them in particular?
It would be like they're spinning their wheels. So essentially, like, if you are doing just the resistance portion, you're going to get stronger, but at the same time, only a minuscule amount compared to, like, if you had everything on point. Not just your physical aspect, but your dietary aspect, your sleep aspect, which opens up a whole other can of worms. But at the same time, like, you have to be fueling yourself for what you're going to do. So if they don't, you can definitely tell that. Yeah,
it's a little tricky of a question because, like, I'm sure not many clients would openly admit to you, like, I had McDonald's chicken nuggets for breakfast or something, right? Like, maybe most of them were hiding it from you, regardless. But the reason why I brought that up in the first place is because I can literally attest to this. I think it was like a little over 2 weeks ago. I had me and Josh, we flew to Florida early in the morning, and we were left to have Dunkin' Donuts for breakfast, and then later in the day I had to have a Starbucks coffee. And when I say I felt like in the worst shape in so fucking long, I literally mean that shit. Like, it was actually so fucking bad. We went to the library the day after to try and get some work done. I couldn't stay productive. I couldn't stay focused. Shit. My stomach was fucking gurgling. My brain was, like, off. I wasn't thinking clearly, whatever. It was so fucking bad. So I'm, like, wondering, like, do your clients go out and they be, like, when they're working out, does that reflect, like, does their diet, like, reflect in the way they work out? Like, whether they feel shitty or not?
Yep. It can reflect not only how they feel, but just how they behave, like whether they're in tune with everything that's going on around them.
That's probably a great way to phrase it.
But yeah, it's basically like when you do eat that shitty food, essentially you go into that brain fog and you're not necessarily aware of everything that's going on.
Yeah, and this is literally what one of our previous guests we just had on, Mikael, if you're watching this, shout out to you, where he was literally talking about how before he, like, went on this whole self-improvement journey, his diet consisted of, like, McDonald's. I think, like, every day for the week, right? Which is fucking insane.
You know how it is.
Yeah, they made a movie about that.
Yeah, I can imagine how that looks, right?
It's called My 600-Pound Life.
That's a TV series,
Yeah, it's close enough. But anyways, he was literally talking about how he consistently felt like shit consistently. And that the second he cleaned that up, his skincare improves, his mood improves, his health as a whole improves. Like just so many, like, honestly, countless benefits. And it's all just like through the idea that you cut out those ultra processed foods. So
yeah, 100%.
Why do you think most people that know this type of stuff still continue to crave this too?
So there's a couple different aspects that could be contributing to that. One is ultra processed foods have a lot of chemicals in them. So some of those chemicals give the brain the same response as what would be like an addiction. So whether it's a drug addiction, alcohol addiction, whatever.
Dopamine.
As the guy that I listened to, Dr. Robert Lustig, said, sugar's addictive properties are compared to those of drugs like cocaine.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Cocaine.
Yeah. And people, like drugs, they can stop doing those, but food, they have to eat food.
Yeah,
Like
right.
you can't stop eating food. Like you can't cold turkey food.
Yeah, you need to.
You can, but you know,
It won't last very long.
no, 7 days roughly.
Yeah, I feel like there's like some type of awareness when it comes to food and clarity and how good you can actually feel.
Yeah.
Because when I even first started trying to be healthier, I went from eating like sweets every day to less sweets and maybe just pick up something from Wawa. Instead, I'll eat some chicken nuggets and mac and cheese from Wawa. That's better than me eating shit. Or McDonald's. That's like one level of like food awareness, right?
Yes.
You're starting to move up, but I feel like people, the reason they live in this constant state is because they don't know how good they can get. They've never reached that state of wow, they feel good, they feel energized, they have that clarity. They never really reached that state, so it's like, it doesn't matter if I eat all this food. It's like, or if I change my diet, it's just like they don't have the awareness that they could feel so much better. They could live a higher quality life.
Because lack of consistency, right? They didn't even stay consistent enough to completely, like, reach their goal, I guess, whatever it may be. And then that's why they lose the hope of, I'm not going to get there. Because lack of consistency.
Well, people don't even believe that it's possible to even, like, I already feel fine. Like, they feel fine. But
Dude,
you can feel like,
yeah.
amazing. You can feel good on a good diet. If you have a really clean, good diet, you won't want to eat the shitty foods. You won't want to do all that stuff. Like, you just feel like an actual human being.
Yeah.
I want to emphasize just how addictive these chemicals are, which is, there was also another study done, and it's very fascinating. Basically, what happens when you increase the price of eggs? When you
Less
increase the
people
price
buy
of
it.
anything, honestly.
Less people buy
Less
it.
people buy it, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So that's exactly what happened with eggs. Now, they also increased the price of cereal and a lot of all this other ultra-processed food. What do you think happened to the consumption?
People still buy
No
it.
change or it went
with
up.
it. No change or it went up
Yeah.
with it. That's how addictive sugar can be.
Going up part is what I'm, like, confused about. Like, I understand people still buying it, but going up is crazy.
It's corporate greed at that point.
But like I said, like outside of like your breakfast, people wake up in the morning and they're like, like
Something simple.
people like there's nothing outside of my cereal bowl. Like people don't go outside of their cereal bowl.
that's-
They don't go
that's
outside
bad.
of their
Yeah.
cookies before bed. They don't go outside of their dino nuggies. They don't go outside of that. So it's like they don't really they don't have the awareness
don't say
of.
bad stuff about my dino nuggies.
Dude, I fucking go
We're
for
gonna
it.
go full blast on it.
Let's
Bullshit
go.
apart, bro.
Wow. Let's read the ingredient list. We should have just brought some processed food up here. Let's go raid your pantry.
That was my childhood. Those dinosaurs, bro. Come on.
That's why you were fat. No offense, bro. I'm sorry. You were fat. You were fat as fuck.
It might
Nah,
have been
it's
the only thing he would have eaten as a kid because it tasted good.
No, I didn't
Because
have
of all
dino
those
nuggies that much.
chemicals.
It's just they look cool. So.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
They
I
were
had
good.
to
They
say
were
that,
good.
but- and
Everyone
they were
goes
good.
through
They
that
were good.
dinosaur
They,
phase.
of course they were
Yeah,
fucking good, dude. It's
yeah,
not
bro.
real food. It's fucking sugar and like whatever other
Dude,
bullshit that.
It's chicken, bro.
You're right. My fault.
Pure it has
chicken.
protein. It has chicken. It says it's good for me. And,
Dude, honest, that's a completely different thing. We're gonna touch up on.
but it has protein.
Oh fuck! New buzzword.
As
of
long as it has
2023
protein,
and
right?
2024.
That's like
I know
that's like
damn well
gym level
Justin knows-
1.
yeah.
I just need protein. That's it. Nope. I don't care about the carbs, the fats, just the protein and water, creatine maybe. I don't know.
That's exactly why Sasha
and caffeine.
brownies.
Caffeine,
15
protein,
gram protein
creatine,
brownies.
water.
What
Do
brownies?
you remember? You remember he bought brownies? He has a thing of checking our closet out every once in a while.
I remember
My dad
those
grew up-
brownies.
Brownies?
I raid the
With,
pantry.
with colorful, like, M&Ms and stuff. It wasn't like M&Ms, but it was the
bought,
colorful
a protein
sprinkled
packed
stuff.
brownie, and Mike just decided to shit on you.
It wasn't a brownie.
Oh my god, what is it? What was it?
It was a cinnamon bun.
Yeah, that's
Cinnamon
cinnamon
bun.
bun.
No, there were brownies too. I remember that for a fact.
There's multiple.
But dude, protein cinnamon bun.
It's actually
It's
healthy.
20 grams of protein.
How can I resist that, dude? I'm sorry.
And he was bulking.
Dude,
bulking, bro.
dude, that's the gym bro's like dream. Oh my
That
god,
shit
it's
was
cinnamon
actually-
bun with 20 grams
For
of
the
protein.
record, that was the worst.
They go, I can eat this once a day, and I can most of my protein's already good. That's all they care about.
Drop
Yeah,
the
dude,
recipe
right?
in the description.
Hell no.
No, I'm
Get
kidding.
out of there. Oh my god, it was actually so fucking bad. But it's actually crazy that you said that too, because like, you're right. People don't know how good they can get. I can attest to how fucking bad it can get. With this, like with the example I literally just gave you guys. Like the first time I had fucking fast food, it was the worst feeling. Like it was so fucking bad. It was it was nauseating. It was fucking horrible. I didn't know how bad it can truly get. And of course, like yeah, when I was younger, all I would eat was like cereal and everything. But that was so fucking long ago. So that at this point, like it's actually fucking insane. Once you break past that point, it becomes so much easier. Like the same way that like all these like successful millionaires say, hey, your first million is the hardest to make, and then everything else past that, you just kind of snowball, whatever,
Exactly.
right? It's the same thing with this. It's a snowball effect. Once you just break past having fucking Cookie Monster or whatever, what was that
Cinnamon
cereal?
Crunch,
Wow.
I love.
Yeah,
Protein
that was
cinnamon
it.
bun. Whatever, Cookie Crisp for breakfast every day. Your life
With
would
the
just
pasteurized milk, with
There we
sugar
go.
milk, protein milk.
yeah, they get the point that we're saying. So let's
Jesse, what would you recommend for breakfast? I know there's a lot of variations, but what do you eat for breakfast, or do you not eat breakfast at all?
I do eat breakfast.
Yeah.
Today, for
Meat.
example, I had eggs.
I fast.
You fast?
No, I'm just
Okay. No, I had eggs and a glass of milk.
But eggs is a lot of cholesterol, bro. That's
Um,
unhealthy.
People
What
get
is the
confused with
notion
this stuff,
behind
though.
that? What is the notion behind eggs being unhealthy?
It is
lot of
basically
eggs?
because of the
Yeah.
cholesterol in the yolk.
Okay.
So, one egg
I'll
or
take my
2 eggs
cholesterol,
with
bro.
yolk is not too bad for you, but
Yeah.
if you get excessive beyond that, then it's best to take the yolks out and just have the egg white.
Okay, so like 6 eggs a day. Am I in danger?
I don't think so.
Take
your
the yolks out of
fucking
4 of
cholesterol.
those, and then you'd be in a much better position.
What did you say?
I said take the yolks out of 4 of those, and you'd be in a much better position.
Okay, fuck.
double the yolk.
Double the yolk. Some eggs come with 2 yolks.
You ever had a duck
Twins.
egg?
No, I have
Duck
not.
eggs had double the
Oh,
cholesterol,
that's right.
like from one egg.
Interesting. I did not
They
know that.
have double the cholesterol, and
Did you know there's a difference between orange yolk and yellow yolk?
what is it?
Is it
Orange
the-
has more omega-3s.
That's cool.
Wow.
So
I didn't
the
know
more
that either.
orange your egg is,
How are
the
there
better.
omega 3s? In I don't know. I
Hmm.
don't fucking know.
Omega
That's why they're
3s
a little
are
more
important.
expensive too.
Yeah,
The ones with
yeah,
an orange
that's
yolk.
true.
It's like $3 more.
How do you know
That's
which
how it is
egg
now.
has orange yolk in it though?
Because it's
It's in a different
a
packaging. Plus, it
different
says
fucking
organic.
chicken. Shit it out. That's why.
What?
Bro, what? This,
We're
no.
talking about the yolk.
Eggs don't
Are you
come
talking about
from
the
the
shell
chicken's
or the
butthole.
fucking
Yeah,
yolk?
a different variation of a chicken.
Okay.
Shit the egg out, and it's orange.
Is it the variation or is it just
I would imagine it's the different.
it's the quality of?
Well,
No.
how can one chicken create 2 different?
Well,
tastes?
depending on what they're feeding the
There
chicken.
could be a mutation
Bruh.
too. So
It could be that too. Yeah. You know what? I'm not gonna make assumptions here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
it's probably your best bet.
That's exactly what it is.
Anyways.
But Jesse, doesn't that also
Interesting.
depend on how much you like work out during the day and how much calories you burn with the 6 eggs? Like if you have it in a day. 'Cause I don't think you should take out yolks from 4 of them. Depending on how much you burn.
He'll feel a difference in how he feels. Essentially, comparatively, when it comes to his blood. So if he's looking specifically at his blood, he's going to be more lethargic and it's going to be more viscous as opposed to more fluid.
Okay.
So the more
Viscous is
cholesterol,
bad.
yeah, viscous is bad.
Yeah, I actually have
Um,
this here. Visceral fat is the worst type of fat. It's particularly harmful and linked to high cortisol levels from stress.
And how do you really feel that?
So you'll just feel more lethargic. You'll feel tired compared to like more uppity and more energized.
And you
Okay.
might also
Yeah.
die from a heart
I'm telling you,
attack.
when I eat 5 eggs
In the long run,
I
yeah.
feel like I can crush the gym.
Like
I mean, like, to be honest, like no, like when I eat like more than like 6 eggs, like if I eat 6 or more eggs, like my sex drive is up. Like I'm telling you, like a couple hours later, I feel I'm ready.
It's It's a lot of
For the gym.
protein.
And then you have
Yeah.
nobody.
It's protein,
to
yeah.
fuck, don't you?
What?
He has the gym, right?
What? I'm just being honest. Like that's just how I feel from like eating eggs and stuff like that.
Sure. It's not a bad
You're
thing.
wasting that sex drive, man.
Oh, wow.
He said no because he
I'm
said
transmutating
you
it.
just have nobody to fuck after.
This is a nutrition podcast.
What the fuck? I'm saying what he said. Don't come at me about it.
Listen,
Actually,
guys,
no,
let's
I'm
keep it
kidding. I'm
PG
sorry.
for
Yeah.
the young audience, all right?
Yeah.
Well, it's
Let's try
PG-13
to-
now. He
long
dropped
story,
one
bro.
F-bomb.
I was just pointing the
He's
out.
been multiple.
What are you gonna- what are you
Multiple.
ask me a
Oh, okay.
question?
Yeah, it's R.
Yeah, fucking idiot.
Jesse, did you ever struggle with processed food? Were you ever addicted to it?
A lot of things like energy drinks are very hard to get off of just because the caffeine that's in those energy drinks can cause withdrawal symptom and like really bad headaches if you try to just stop. So if you're consistently having 200 to 300 milligrams in that energy drink and you have it every single day for years and years and years and then you just stop, it's going to be like withdrawals, like the same thing with quitting a drug addiction.
Yeah.
Which I'm not pointing at you because you have a drug addiction. It's because we talked about it earlier.
He's a caffeine addict, so it's actually valid for him.
Um,
Yeah, you're not completely wrong, right?
but essentially, that would be one thing that I started and stopped doing is energy drinks, and that was a very challenging thing.
Yeah.
But it's like weaning yourself off of it is definitely the best way to go about it. So if you are trying to reduce your processed foods, I definitely recommend you do just that. You reduce it. You don't just switch everything out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely, we
got a
talk
good
about that all
question
the
for you,
time.
Jess, which is, what would you recommend people eating then? Because, like I said before, 73% of food in a grocery market is I almost said unprocessed again. Ultra processed food. So, how do you find the 27%? What is the 27%? Let me ask you that. Not how do you find it, but what is it? Like, what should people typically be eating? And obviously, you can't eat the same meal every single day, but like, what should they be eating?
So if you're looking at the setup of a grocery store, like all the stuff in the aisles is meant to be on the shelf for as long as it can be on the shelf. So that's going to be your ultra processed foods. But the stuff on the outside is going to be that perishable item. So that's the stuff that you want to consume the most of.
You know what's
Produce.
crazy you say that?
Yeah.
Every time I go to the grocery store, it's
That's exactly
I go
what
right
they-
to the fruit
that's-
aisle,
Yeah.
make my way around to the meats, right around to the dairy, and then I leave. I never touch the middle part
That's good.
ever.
Yeah.
And I just
Parents-
noticed that
I
it's
know
like
that layout. That's crazy.
you just go all the way around and just make a
Parents
loop. Boom.
hate going through the cereal aisle with their kids because it's just colors.
Yeah.
Mommy, this
Yeah.
one. Mommy,
Yeah.
that one. Please. Or
That one has a wolf. Cookie crisp. Yeah.
yeah, such a. So,
Cocoa
Yeah.
Puffs.
Mhm.
Oh
Yeah,
my god. I
The
remember
layout
those.
definitely like
Here's another thing though.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true. But then you go to the turkey section and you see those packaged turkey,
Sliced,
Which is processed.
sliced, yeah.
which is processed. So
Mhm.
that's a great way to put it, but still tricky because not everything
Mhm.
also. So what specific meat should you be eating? Cheese? Should I be eating pasta? What should I be eating?
So, moderation is key in this. So, necessarily just having it a few times is not going to kill you.
No, of course.
So, when you're looking at what should you be eating, the more natural the food is, the better it is for you. So, if you can recognize it, like that's definitely a chicken breast, or that's definitely a rump roast on any kind of animal,
Yeah.
whether it's pig or cow. But at
And
the
it
same
only
time,
says that specific part. That's it. Chicken
Mhm.
breast. That's
Yeah.
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you can
The
recognize
ingredients
it, it's usually better for you.
And I keep hearing that fish is one of the best things for you, just period. Not even for the sake of ultra processed food, just for the sake of your health.
Like
Our
wild
health,
caught
everything.
salmon.
Yeah.
I love
I'm not
myself.
farm raised, bro.
It does
I
have
love myself.
Omega 3s? Is that what the
Yep.
Omega 3s.
Coming back to those omega 3s.
good for your
Yes.
brain?
Salmon
So-
is like some of the
Oh,
best.
Most,
Yeah.
Aren't most of our foods mostly like omega 6s, like high in omega 6s, not omega 3s?
Most, yes.
But we should
Yeah.
be having more omega 3s, not the 6s.
What's
Yes.
the omega 6?
So-
What is omega 6? Yeah.
Omega 6s versus omega 3s. The reason why omega 6s are bad is basically just because we get way too much of it.
Most of the American diet is
Mhm.
way too one-sided on the omega 6.
Yes, and I believe I'm trying to remember what the website was, but there is a website that breaks down like sunflower oil has this percentage of omega-6, this percentage of omega-3. Canola oil, like different types of oils that are like fried or that you cook with food, like olive oil, different things like that. But essentially, it's just the chemical makeup of those omegas or those fatty acids. So the omega-3s, if I'm remembering correctly, are like easier to process for your body versus the omega-6s. But at the same time, it's definitely the proportion that you get of those items.
Okay. So a fish would have omega-6, but not as much as it would have omega-3? Is that what you're saying? Or
it would have
The opposite
more
of
omega-3.
Yeah, more omega-3.
Yeah.
No, that's what I said.
Yeah.
More of,
Then
but
yes.
not completely without omega-6, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
We still need
that's what I-
omega-6, just like
Yeah.
the American diet is just so heavily like on the other side.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
The omega-6.
Very
Makes
skewed.
sense. Jesse, I want to make another great point, which is ultra-processed food lacks a lot of fiber.
That is true.
And what is the importance of fiber? What the fuck is fiber? A lot of people just think, oh, nice, fiber.
Well, fiber is good, especially as you age, because it keeps things moving in your digestive tract. I don't know if any of you guys have ever been constipated before, because I have, and it's not fun. But
Had
increase your
diarrhea.
fiber.
Oh, I bet.
Hemorrhoids.
There's not fun all around.
I didn't shit for 8 days.
I was too
What?
scared to shit.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I took 60 shits in a week.
That's the opposite.
What?
That's
yeah, it's definitely not
You
constipation.
know why?
definitely hydrated.
You know why?
Stay
Not gonna
hydrated.
bring it up.
I know
They know why.
I don't know
I
why.
don't know why.
I know
Yeah,
why.
What are you talking
Exactly
You
about?
have
why.
to bring it up.
It involves a stick, and you know why. Let's go.
What's he talking
Let's
about?
go.
So fiber.
Only we know, right?
No, only Josh knows. I don't know what he's
How the
talking about.
fuck would that cause you to shit 60 times?
I don't know, Sasha. Why?
Okay, I guess. What is he talking about?
I have no
I'm
idea.
so confused.
I heard a stick, so I'm connecting dots in my brain. I don't
I
like
think
this.
you got it.
It's not
I
there. It's not
think you
there.
got it.
He's
Yeah.
schizophrenic.
I have a feeling
He's
that
just making
Jesse
things
got
up.
it.
Yeah.
He's just mentally ill.
Yeah,
doesn't
he's
know what
making
talking
things up
about.
over there. He has schizophrenia, so sometimes his mind like rambles about it.
Like he makes up fantasies and stuff.
Don't worry about him.
Fiber.
Fiber.
Yeah.
It keeps you regular, so it keeps things moving along in your digestive tract. So basically, think of it as where food goes. It's the floss of the food world.
So
that's a
where
good
does
way to
fiber?
put it.
Where's fiber in fruit mostly, right?
Fiber is in
Nuts.
a lot of fruits, like your apple, in your example.
Yeah,
Nuts too, right? Nuts have.
nuts
nuts.
does
Yeah.
have fiber in it.
I
Yeah.
forget what has
Yeah.
fiber. I know
Dates.
raisins, dates,
Right.
stuff
Dates.
like that. Yeah.
Dates
are Yes.
great.
Bread also has fiber.
Bread has
Dates are a
fiber. Whole
great
grain.
source of fiber.
Whole grain
Yeah,
breads.
whole
Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
hmm But
Dates
yeah,
are overpowered.
fiber is gonna keep things moving in your body.
Okay. Very interesting.
hmm
Very interesting.
Keep you
Is
regular.
that just like a key thing ultra processed foods typically lack? fiber?
Yes, because the like when they start messing with the chemical
Do you
makeup
think
of
that
foods.
McDonald's apple pie has fiber?
I'm fucking saying like what else are like key components that they lack?
Goes right
They-
through
They
me, bro.
probably
It
like they
probably
lack
does.
fucking everything like fucking calcium, magnesium.
Yeah.
I'm sure they lack all that zinc, whatever. Right, but I'm saying like what is like you mentioned that's a
Mhm.
key thing. Are there any other like key fucking nutrients that aren't in there?
As far as like whole foods or as far as
Ultra
processed foods?
Ultra processed. Yeah.
So they can do things like enrich it, which is not necessarily a good thing. But at the same time, like they'll add in extra vitamins and minerals. But it's not necessarily what you need. Like you're better off getting whole food nutrients versus just processed like, oh, I'm low on vitamin A, so I'll have a bunch of this food because I see it's 120% of my daily value for a serving.
Wait, but
So I know what you were trying to get to, which is another thing that
ultra
ultra-processed
Ultra.
foods leads to is another thing outside fiber, which is insulin. Causes a lot of issues with insulin. So can you explain more of that? Is that what you're referring to? What other things does...
Yeah.
First of all, what is insulin, and then
Yeah. What is insulin and what can it lead to?
Sure. So when you eat food, you get glucose. And when you basically have too much glucose, your body stores it as glycogen. So when you need to reverse the process and you're in like a fasting format, if you
Right.
will, then your body needs that insulin to convert the glycogen into glucose again.
Okay. Back
So-
to the energy.
Yep, that's where it comes from.
Okay.
So basically that's what your liver does is stores and creates that insulin. So if you're a type 1 diabetic, which sucks and I'm sorry, but your liver does not produce insulin, so you are dependent on giving yourself insulin with shots or injections.
But do they also not have? I mean, as long as I know, they also have a lot of stored fat too, right? Or like stored glucose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not fat, but glucose. Yeah. That's why. Yeah. Okay.
And just
Exactly.
just for context, I think this was already mentioned, but just in case, I don't know if I'm tripping, but the reason insulin levels become low and why people get diabetes is due because of their poor diet being those
Yes.
unprocessed food. So
Yeah.
it causes hormonal problems, which then cause insulin issues.
Hmm. And touching more on that, it-
Did I say it again?
You said unprocessed.
Dude,
you can
thought,
you can just call it UPF.
UPF. I'm gotta
Yeah,
go.
stick to that.
Ultra processed foods, UPF. Just call it that.
UPF.
That way you won't make the mistake. But if you chronically continue to eat those UPFs, then your body will end up getting insulin resistant, which is what type 2 diabetes comes into, which is reversible. So if you do end up changing your diet up and you go for a more healthy route, then you'll see that reversed in your body and you will be not type 2 diabetic anymore.
Dude, that's dope.
Right?
Yeah.
Wait, can you say that one more time? it was kind of too much for me. Sorry.
No, you're okay. So essentially, when people are eating those UPFs chronically,
Yeah.
and they're eating it for a prolonged period of time, in other words, they will start to become insulin resistant. So they'll end up developing type 2 diabetes, or they'll become pre-diabetic, which is the precursor to type 2 diabetes. So that is a reversible condition, and it's basically just lifestyle habits. A majority of the time, not in every single case, but a majority of the time, they can reverse that situation in their body and not be type 2 diabetic anymore.
And how would they be able to do that? If you can just kind of
By
exercise out.
cutting out those UPFs and eating a more healthful diet and exercising regularly, getting those healthy habits, sleeping regularly.
Right.
Yes.
Being a normal human being.
Yes, existing.
Right?
Doing
That's
things.
what Mike would call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good things for your body.
Let's. Were you gonna say it?
Nowadays,
I wanna
that's being
transition
above
to-
average.
I want to go to another route and start flaming the food industry.
All right.
Let's go.
So
Before we do that, should we
Yeah.
get to the side effects of what happens when you eat processed food?
Yeah, because
Like the
I wanted to
short-term
save
and then
that
long-term.
for how we can actually
Prevent
get people
that, yeah.
off of them. Off of
Because
ultra
that's our favorite. We're about
yeah. That's gonna be. We're gonna cook on that.
So
stuff.
we have written down the side effects, short term and long term.
Mhm.
I feel like another thing that people don't look at is short term, and most of the times we pay attention to the long term. But before we get to the long term, it's also being able to identify what happens during that short term process of consuming the ultra processed food, right? So some of it that we have written down is here. For heavily processed food, some immediate side effects can be sluggishness or an allergic reaction.
Mhm.
I mean, I personally never had an allergic reaction on processed food, thank God. But
That's good.
I mean, has some of you had an allergic reaction on it? Have you?
No?
Jesse?
Well,
Uh,
I had a moment
go ahead.
where every time I eat an apple, just a regular apple, my lips get itchy.
Okay.
That's an allergic reaction.
Is
That's
it?
Yeah.
not,
Every time I eat
It's
apple.
not
it's
an ultra processed food.
Whenever I eat, I know.
But you know what
So
I
that
heard?
could just be
Sometimes
an
they-
allergy that
Is it
you
the
have.
Stuff they
pesticides
spray
and
on
stuff?
there or no?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe. It could be the type of apple it is. So whether
Yeah.
it's Granny Smith or Gala apples or Macintosh or Fuji, there's
Damn.
tons of apples.
Usually,
Okay, you know the names.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
it's usually when I touch the skin of the apple, not the apple inside itself.
Yeah, so you may end up going the route of, if you want to continue to eat apples, just peeling them.
I can eat it, but I would just have like puffy, like itchy lips. Could I
Some
kill you
people
with an
want
apple? I'm good, bro.
All right.
You know
Not like
what?
a-
You know what I've heard? For them to preserve the apple that's in the store, they put some kind of. It's like an oily thing outside of it. That's what they do with tomatoes. I've
Mhm.
noticed. If you actually rinse it with water, you're gonna see like little bubbles form on it. That's when you know it's greasy.
Mhm.
So that's probably what's doing it. So you might
That's
have
what I
to
think.
wash it with even what's it called? Soap
Baking soda, apple
or
cider
baking
vinegar.
soda. Yeah.
Mhm. They have if you look for
That
it,
would be
they
the
do
best.
have rinses and washes for fruit specifically
Yeah.
or vegetables in stores.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
available.
I didn't even know that.
Like
That's a
apple
great
cider
thing. Yeah,
vinegar
yeah.
and baking soda and stuff. Yeah, just like how
Yeah.
you would wash any other fruits.
Yeah.
And then long term would be obviously high blood pressure,
Mhm.
and obesity. Obviously, right?
Heart
like
disease has to be one of them,
What?
right? I'm sure heart disease has to be one of them too. Or is that short? Was that in short?
Yeah, well,
term?
high blood pressure obviously slowly
to-
leads
yeah, that's
to
true,
yeah,
that's true.
exactly.
Yep.
What you said, gout? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Gout? Okay.
Gout.
Gout, sugars, fats, and sodium.
Mhm.
So high excess of.
Exactly. It's basically having too many items that have rodeo flavor, if you will. Yeah,
Rodeo
which is not a flavor. Texas Roadhouse
Yeah.
has food items that have that.
Okay.
But
Do you know what it consists of?
it's basically just eating unhealthily for a long period of time.
Okay.
And that basically leads
Yeah, that
to
makes sense.
gout, which is not a fun condition. It is the crystallization of the areas in between your joints,
Yeah.
which can be very, very painful.
Yeah.
You know, I've noticed too with ever since I started switching my diet completely. Like I used to have like health anxiety. Like I would look at people who eat like maybe ketosis, or they would eat just regular more animal based and
Mhm.
more fruits and more that. I would be scared to switch that diet because for some reason I thought I was gonna die. I don't know why.
Dude, I
but
remember that.
I had like such a
What?
bad health anxiety about switching my diet to clearly it's working for them. Clearly looks like a healthier thing for these people, right? But why am I so afraid to get rid of carbs? Why am I so afraid of getting rid of these things? So what I did slowly but surely was to replace at least one meal with something healthier over time, slowly but surely, like weaning it off. But then I began to notice my anxiety's going away. I have a lot more energy. I fall asleep better. I don't feel sluggish anymore after eating the meal. Because every time, because I've been trying to bulk for 3 years now, right, with ultra processed foods, and I even bulked to like 180 pounds with ultra like just eating McDonald's, Buffalo Wild Wings,
Wawa.
fancy foods, white bread, peanut butter with sunflower oil, the school lunches with deep fried chicken sandwiches with the bread and rich flour.
Damn,
and
you
meat.
really remember it, bro.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I bet all of it tasted delicious.
Yeah, I was bulking.
Yeah.
I tasted everything.
School lunches was
great.
flat, dude.
Delicious,
Those chicken
but
sandwiches,
bad.
they were good. Like my
But then
freshman year.
But
Yeah.
going back from when I was then now, I was like so reactive. I had a lot of anxiety. I would always be like cautious and like paranoid a little bit. I'd be lost in a thought. I'd be overthinking so much. I'd begin to like be in my head too much. And I just began to like, a lot of people just live like that. That's
Yeah.
their normal life.
Yep.
It's just being like that and they think it's normal.
Mhm.
That's not normal, right? So it's like the diet really does completely change the way your reality is. Your mind, everything. In your
Yeah,
gut
you see
especially.
that a lot with
Mhm.
people too. Like people with those type of diets are most likely to be those people that can't focus. They're so alert of like what's going on around them, in a way that's not good. You know what I mean? Like too alert almost, like too scared,
Yeah.
Sure.
paranoid.
People think it's like
all that
normal.
kinds of
Like people like
anxiety,
normalize
depression.
that, and it's like, oh, you feel like that too. It's like me too.
Yeah,
it's
right.
like let's take pills. let's take pills. Give me.
Let's numb ourselves.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But no, there are those cases where like
Fat doctor gives me pills. I'm depressed, anxiety.
Doctor goes, yeah, I'm going through the same thing. Take this pill. That's what
Yeah.
I'm doing.
take a
I'm
pill.
sick of
Take a
it,
pill
bro.
for the side effects of that pill. Yeah.
Exactly. And then more and more and more.
It spirals.
It's crazy.
But there are those cases where like changing the diet or changing their exercise habits can completely reverse how they feel. Not just like how you felt, like that paranoia feeling, but also reducing autism or reducing schizophrenia.
Yeah.
There are things
I heard
that
diets
are
can
linked.
really treat those types of
Yeah.
those types of diseases and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jordan Peters,
Absolutely.
remember?
I mean,
how
yeah,
much
probably
weight
the
he lost?
most alarming disease that diet has impacted significantly is dementia.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine how scary it is, honestly, for one day your mother to not even recognize you.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the scariest. Maybe, like, that's a nightmare.
She had too many carb crashes, bro.
Yo, that's crazy. Yo, Mike, explain that further. It was just funny how you said it.
Right? that's what it leads to. Type 3 dementia just leads, or whatever it's called, just leads to just too many
That's
carb
not the
crashes
only
throughout
thing
your
though.
life.
That's just how it was just funny how you just said it. That as if that's the case.
But I mean, he explained
That
what
could
it
be
means,
the
so
cause, yeah, but
You've had too many carb crashes for a long period of time. Now you just don't remember anything. It's not even me making a joke. I'm just being
The
straight
ultimate
up.
carb crash.
Yeah.
She reached her limit of carb crashes.
Three level
And if anyone has
diabetes.
anyone with dementia out there, it's nothing against them.
But yeah, it is correlated. Like
Look at the evidence.
third level diabetes is correlated to dementia. Not that that's what causes it, but there's a correlation because of high blood pressure, all those sugary
Pretty sure
foods.
dementia has
your-
everything
your-
to do with your food diet. If I'm positive.
Yeah, but
There's
it
a
could
lot
be
of factors.
it could
Remember we
be
talked about
genetics.
this,
It could
there's
be
multiple.
brain damage. Like you can get a brain damage, God forbid now, but have be completely healthy, and then those 1 year or in 2 years you just get dementia right away, just that fast. I mean that's been cases with boxers too. Like they're completely fine after the fight. 2 weeks later, they're completely they can't even move. They're paralyzed. Like that's how dementia is. It's not only because of diet. Even though I feel like personally, when you fix up the diet, dementia reduces even if you have brain damage, at least to some extent.
To an extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
There's multiple factors like old
But I
age
think
and you're
diet
not
has a
keeping your
big
mind going, whatever,
effect
but
on the
that's-
brain health.
Yeah, overall as a whole, like diet will always probably be the most important thing.
Yeah, exactly.
When it comes
it's
to
our energy.
just
What I want
health
to
as a
ask you
whole.
is, what should people look at, like the label, the food label? How do they know what to get? What should they be looking at? Like
So
when you go to a grocery store, yeah.
several things are on that food label. So when you're looking at it specifically, try to find things when it comes to the daily percentage is not like way over the top. Like you want less than 100% as far as your daily allotment for any kind of vitamin, mineral kind of thing. But at the same time, when you're looking at those food labels, the less ingredients, the better it is for you because there's less additives, less chemicals in it. So another thing that should be noted is that each of those ingredients is listed by the amount that is in the food itself. So the more of the ingredient there is in the food, the higher up or the sooner it's going to be listed on the ingredients list.
I've
and
never
they'll-
seen the percentages. I probably is
It's
it
on
somewhere
the
else
top.
other than the ingredients?
It says
It'll-
on the top.
It'll say like
It's not with the ingredients. It's somewhere else. Like
the
probably-
food itself or the nutrient, like protein, it'll say how many grams,
Oh,
and then
that,
it'll say
okay.
right next to
Yeah,
that
the
the
okay.
percentage.
Oh, okay.
And then also down a little bit lower, it'll say like vitamin A X% or
Yeah,
vitamin
yeah.
B,
Oh, yeah,
C,
yeah.
D. Yeah.
You never want the vitamins to be over 100?
Look for stuff that doesn't have over 100. So that'll be a more easy, digestible, and more absorption you'll get into your body.
Yeah, and also just like common known ones, what you mentioned earlier with the like chicken, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, with things that you can like actually recognize. Like when
Exactly,
I look
like,
at
it's a
peanut
food.
butter label. It says dry roasted peanuts. I'm happy, but then I see cane sugar in there, fucking sunflower oil, a whole bunch of other shit. It's like,
Canola.
what the fuck am I? What is this in my peanut butter? Right? It's just
Right.
things you can recognize.
Things like gum that Josh mentioned earlier when we weren't recording. But at the same time, like gum was one of the things you touched on. If you want to expand upon that.
Yeah, it's common is xanthan gum. That's bad for you, period. And then what was it? Emulsifiers. Emulsifiers is a category. It's not a specific ingredient, so you can't just find emulsifier. But there's at least 60 different types of emulsifiers, and that's one of the worst things for you.
Do you know what
What are
category it
they?
goes to or no?
Emulsifier is the category.
But I'm saying,
Or
what's
what-
within there?
yeah.
What's within the like? What are some
What would be
examples
the
of them?
ingredient that goes in?
It's if you see an ingredient that you can't pronounce, I'll put it that
Are
way.
they like thickeners or?
Thickener, that's the things that make them look normal. So,
Oh,
for
okay,
example,
okay.
emulsifiers are used to make bread soft and spongy,
Mhm.
have
Oh,
that
okay.
like feeling.
Mhm.
So it actually feels like normal bread. And if you
Alright.
didn't include those emulsifiers, you know what that bread will look like after a week in the grocery store? Fucking
Mold,
black.
Yeah. uh-huh.
Yeah, it wouldn't go bad. Yeah, it
So-
would.
It would. It would. Yeah.
What I
Supposed
also
to.
look at
Yeah.
is like the size
Supposed
size
to.
of the food.
Yeah,
Right? For
bread is
example,
supposed to.
if the
Yeah.
protein bar is this big and it says it's like 100 calories, and then like it says like 20 grams of sugar or added sugar, that's also
Yes.
bad because it's small. That means he has a lot of shit added to it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, you also should look at that, like the size and then how many calories he has.
Yes, and starting in 2018, they had to start listing the added sugars, the amount of added sugars on the food label. So going back
They went
to
through before.
they didn't do it. They didn't have to do it before. So the added sugars versus natural sugars or the fermented sugars are all now listed on the food label. So if you're looking at a protein bar, for example, it could have added sugars, fermented sugars, and just sugar listed on that food label. And yeah, it is.
You know what I was always very confused, if you can help me? If it says 40 grams of sugar and then it says 22 grams of added sugar, is it 60 grams? Or is it 22 of the 40 being added sugar?
The second. Yeah.
22 of the 40.
I
So
swear that's what I
22
thought
of the
too. I would
40
literally add the 2 and I
is
would be like,
added sugar.
I would
Yeah.
literally add the 2 as
So
well.
think of it as like a category, and then it's a little subsection.
That
Subsection.
makes me feel so much better.
in the past, you
Mhm.
would really not have to say how many of that added sugars, how many grams of it was added sugars?
Right.
How the fuck are companies getting away with that, dude? Corporations.
Talk
That is.
about
Oh, that's good they added.
That's
this-
food
this mic's
politics,
busted,
yeah.
Regardless.
Really?
Yo.
But I
Wait,
mean,
it's not.
there is
So it's busted.
there's different things like they
It's good?
have to do
Is mine
now
good?
on the food label that they didn't have to do, like
Mhm.
adding the added sugars being specifically listed on there, and also adding in the amount of vitamins that were in there for like vitamin A, vitamin B. They didn't have to do that prior.
Do you know what they're still hiding?
Uh,
The label?
Not off the top of my head, no, I don't.
Okay.
Do we know that the label they put there, you know how many calories he has, how many added sugars? Do we know that it's accurate? 'Cause, you know,
because
I've
of
heard
the
from people that
FDA.
you can
I
literally
was
put
gonna say.
anything. Yeah.
Because of the FDA, it
for
is
the most part,
known.
maybe
Yes.
not to a T, but for the most part, obviously,
Yeah,
you wouldn't
it
know
is
every
into
single
a
grain.
grain. You're allowed to
Trace just
exaggerate,
says
like-
each one varies, but
Yep.
it's
Because then that would be
Very-
like
Okay.
super.
Like,
Yeah, 'cause I've
yeah,
heard
Diet
from people
Coke
that
and
are like,
shit
well, how the
isn't
fuck do you
actually
know that
0
he has
calories,
that,
it's
even though
rounded
it says he
down.
does?
It's
Yeah.
not to a T.
You
but
can
it's
just put anything, but I mean,
And
to a
it's
point,
just like
obviously,
that.
it's like controlled, obviously, yeah.
Yes, and it is because of the FDA, the
Federal
Food and Drug Administration.
Food and
Yeah.
Drug.
Wait, is the FDA who made them throw in the label? That's a
Yep.
rare W by them.
Yeah. And they
That's a
also
huge-
changed
what do you mean
things.
rare W?
Uh,
They're the only thing saving us right now.
so like the food
I don't know.
industry versus the supplement industry, the FDA controls the food industry
Yeah.
to actually be like, this is what's in this food, versus like the supplement industry, all you have is third party tested. So
Yeah.
actually somebody else coming in and some company saying that yes. And there are credible companies.
Kinda like
So your supplements are good. Don't stop taking your supplements, but make sure they're third party tested.
Yeah.
So like don't just take Greg's protein because you know Greg, he made it in his garage. It's fine.
And
Yeah.
we mentioned it in the
Right.
last episode
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I remember the last episode we
Yeah,
had with
that-
you.
we did talk about this.
Yeah, check that out, guys. We actually literally pull up the picture too of
Good.
the certain labels you should look for
Yes.
that would guarantee you to that you're getting a good supplement.
Yes,
So, yeah.
absolutely.
The reason why I said rare W is because like, obviously that's an exaggeration. They're fucking clutch, but also like, FDA is the same people that approve Jolly Ranchers as fucking food. Like if I was the head of FDA, get that shit the fuck out of it. That's not fucking food, right?
What's wrong with my Jolly Rancher? One a day.
Keep having it, dog. Let's see how it goes.
That's how he stays so jolly.
Just
Yeah, exactly.
have that
Oh.
same thought when you
Yeah,
get
Jolly
money
Ranchers.
coming
I
in
remember.
your pockets.
I remember
Yeah.
when we had a test in school,
Yeah.
like the
Dude, that's what they would give us.
That's what they would feed us.
It's for that
They
instant
would-
sugar.
Oh,
so
I
you
wonder
would
if I could-
Yeah, you
Yeah,
completed
yeah,
the
yeah,
test.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let me give you a Jolly Rancher, bro.
Every day, and they're like, when you finish, we'll give you another one.
Dude, if we're talking about
fuck
school.
that shit, bro.
If we're talking about school, let
Oh,
me
we're
have
not.
it.
We're gonna get to that, right, Mike?
Jolly Rancher.
Yeah, we should actually get to the school thing. But before that, I don't know if you guys have ever done that, but I personally didn't know this. I think until last year, which is crazy. I wouldn't look at the serving size either. I would just look at the label because I feel like a lot of people don't.
Right.
I thought I was the only one, but apparently not. I wouldn't look at the serving size, and I would just think that a whole cookie would be 29 grams of sugar, but serving size was what, like 1/4 of it or something, which is crazy.
Yeah, crumble cookies are
Yeah,
just like that.
I know damn well. we
Yo,
just,
what
like-
was it?
Yep.
Please, like, what was the
It's
serving
200
size?
Calories a cookie.
Yeah, but they on the screen or wherever you go, it
Dude,
says it's like
no,
200. 'cause they, like,
bottom left
hide the
at
fucking-
like so the actual label of the cookie that says what the title of the cookie is probably like if you think of font size 36, and then on the bottom left in like font size 12,
It
Less,
says-
like 6.
Yeah,
Serving size.
serving size is 4 per cookie.
Yeah,
It's-
it's also like on Crumble's
Isn't that
menu
crazy?
is particularly like I'm a guy that loves fucking Crumble, but their thing in general is you have to hit the hamburger, like the little 3 dots, and you have to hit nutrients and then ingredients, and then you can see how many fucking
They make it
like
difficult.
actual like servings is in it or whatever. Like companies specifically try to hide this shit from you.
Yeah.
Like when you go online and you see that, oh, this cookie is a fucking caramel cheesecake cookie. This is gonna be so good. It's only 200 calories, is what it said, and then fucking 4x that, just like that. It's insane. It's insane. Like, that's what I really
But
wanted
the
to go
first thing
into.
you see when you walk in the store is a big jar of sugar that's in there. Brown
crazy.
sugar and then white
No, but
sugar.
this is a great point. Is look at every restaurant because you think it's just Crumble, but I actually had this experience when we went to Payway. If you guys know what Payway is,
I don't.
It's
Not
like an
Pay was a
Asian
trashy ass chain that I don't like.
that he doesn't like. I like.
Okay.
My dad likes. It's like Asian food, and they make it right there and then. It used to be the full list of calories, which was like around 1,200. Again, it varies on whatever food it is.
Sure.
But now it's 600 in parentheses, and then there's a
2 servings.
in front. No, so it goes 2 parentheses 600. It doesn't say 2 times. Like it just says 2 parentheses 600.
And that's a
I
good
didn't
point.
catch- You have to really watch these labels nowadays. You don't know
Yes.
which restaurants. It's not just the cookies. It's now gone into regular restaurants.
And ask questions if you have to, you know, like
Literally.
Yeah. The server may
It's
not
better to
know,
know that.
but you can always ask, like, do you know what's in this? Or, yeah, you can ask the manager.
and
Somebody
Google,
has
Google
to know.
nowadays.
And
AI.
Google. Yeah, you got a pocket computer.
Yeah, right.
It's nice.
Sick.
But touching on that, like, don't be afraid to eat out when you're trying to unprocess your diet. It's still okay to eat out. Just ask, like, ahead of time, like, can you box up half of it? Because, yeah, restaurant portions are absolutely enormous.
Ridiculous.
So don't be afraid to split those portions or box up half the portion. Like,
Yeah,
it
that's
is
smart.
okay. And that's
Exactly.
definitely going to save you in the long run.
Exactly. Yeah, that is a good point.
It's like food is like almost like ruined nowadays because people eat and then they feel like shit after. It's
Yes.
like, what was the point of eating? Like, are you just gonna? They're tired. They got a big stomach, and like they're just like they're like sluggish for the next hour or two.
Yep.
After
that's not
eating.
what food's supposed to do.
That's not what it's
Yeah.
supposed to
Yeah.
do to you. You're supposed to feel satiated. Wow, I feel
Energized,
good, right?
yeah.
Like, of course, you got time to digest, but
Horny.
that shouldn't knock you out for the day. What is that?
And it
You're
should
supposed to feel
shouldn't give
horny,
you a
apparently.
headache or whatever.
According to Josh.
Well, he was talking about a sex drive earlier. So
Yeah.
Funny.
What about it?
That's been on
You're supposed
Josh's
to feel
mind
horny,
this
he
whole
said.
time.
After you have food.
After you get
After
food,
those
yeah,
And
exercise
it
eggs?
takes an effect after.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
I don't
food is
get it.
supposed to be fuel for your body.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to cancel stuff because of what you ate.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't feel good
You
now.
shouldn't
I'm
cancel
gonna
anything.
call you in a little
It's like,
now.
why is
Cancel
food
culture.
coming normal? Why is it normal for the guy to unbutton his pants to be like, oh, I'm stuffed now?
No,
These
the
are my
day-
Thanksgiving
the day-
pants.
No, seriously. The day you can't see your penis because your stomach covers it is the day you lost weight.
That's so true.
It's just shrinking because you just like the food diet just fucks up your hormones.
No, that's true. Yeah.
is
Dude, people's dicks don't work because of their diet, bro. Like genuinely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes
the
that
amount of
doesn't
things
scare
that
you-
diet
If that
plays
doesn't
into
scare you
is
as a man,
crazy.
I don't know what will scare you. Like honestly.
Honestly, bro.
That's a good point. That's a
Yeah,
good ass
the
point.
thing that makes you a man doesn't work.
Dude, fuck
I don't
it.
know about
That's-
the research on
that's
that,
the
but
coming up.
oh,
That's
that's
the coming
creepy.
up side.
Yeah, I've never heard that either, but
That is fucking
I bet like it
That's a good
has some sort of.
Well, what a diet affects the hormones, right? And the hormones are linked to your, you mean
The
your
hormones is the insulin part, which
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
fucks you up.
Yeah. It's also
Fucks
blood
you
flow as
up.
well. It's like viscosity, like what is it? Right? The visceral
Visceral fat.
flow of blood.
does get fucked up.
So
with
there's
the
different
blood
types.
Viscosity.
arteries or whatever once you
Sub-
start to
thickness
all
of
that
the-
Subcutaneous.
trans fats, whatever.
Yeah. So
Oh.
touching on the fat thing. So there's visceral fat, which is the fat that's up against your organs,
The
and then
worst.
there's subcutaneous fat, which is the fat that is more on the outside portion. So if you ever see like some people refer to it as cottage cheese thighs, that's that subcutaneous fat.
Wow.
What
What
is
is
it?
it? Cottage
Man, I
cheese
got those
thighs.
cottage cheese thighs, man. Don't talk.
No, you
talk
don't.
about- Yes, I do. I have fat. on my
Have you
thighs.
seen people with
You
like
do
kind
not
of
have
rolled up-
cottage
Yes,
cheese
I do.
thighs.
Oh, I don't know what cottage cheese.
Oh,
thighs
when
are,
it's
but
like
I have.
stretched and rolls on it.
It's not stretched. There's like small little dots.
No,
like,
I know
on their
exactly
skin.
what you're talking about.
So,
Oh, that's so
as soon as
fat.
And when
Right.
when you're fat,
Yes.
if you were to squeeze your like
But
muscle.
I get
well,
rashes when I
there's
run.
barely any
Because
muscle,
it
so it's all
looks
fat.
like cottage
So if you were
cheese.
to do this, you would see a lot of rolls and stuff.
Yeah.
How does
So
that
that's-
happen?
So
Just eat healthy.
A lot
the
of
fat.
fat.
cells in your leg, for example, for the cottage cheese thighs, the fat cells have grown and the fascia has become basically weak, or it's gotten separated in certain spots just because of the expansion. And the fat cells are just kind of creeping out in those areas. So
Dude, that is so fucking nasty. So now you resort to looking like a moldy, crusty fucking piece. That's actually
Well,
so.
I don't know about crusty, but greasy.
You look at all of it. You look all of it. Fuck.
Yeah, ever since I started eating,
Oh my god.
ever since I started eating healthy too, it's like I fell in love with cooking, like making my
That's
own
good.
food at home.
Right?
I just love making the same meals every single day at the same time, the same way. Like I don't know, I just like.
Oh,
it's
that's
peaceful.
boring, bro. That's so boring.
So,
I
so,
find it
so you're getting
peaceful.
comfortable. That's what it is, right? Let's talk about that.
That's
good.
I have clarity,
I get it.
growth, sleep. I'm a human being now, right?
That's good. From a zombie to a human
Excuses for
being.
being comfortable.
Exactly.
And
How
if
come
you
you-
are, I'm a guy who can never eat the same shit. So we're like pull
The
out.
same good food every single day.
No, but here's the thing, though.
No,
like,
but
eating
my
good
point
food
is,
doesn't
there
have to be
isn't
eating
just
the same
one
fucking
thing.
every day,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's the whole thing I want to emphasize. It doesn't mean you have to.
If you want to be average,
Go chicken. Go chicken, steak, salmon, chicken, steak, salmon, add shrimp.
Yeah, right.
So
You could
many
be
different
vanilla and bland and eat like a dog, eat like the same fucking
Yeah.
thing every
You
day,
could be
or you could
average.
explore your no,
you could be average.
yeah, average like this, or you could be
I
like
don't gotta think
you
about
know,
what I
a
gotta eat
human
every day
being.
now.
You
You
don't.
have no
That's right.
woman to come home to.
What? No, what?
His life is simple.
Yeah.
He
Which
says
is
it
good.
quiet so you don't hear it. It happens
is
so
it?
many times. I don't know what it is.
Say it. Repeat it. No, repeat it.
Why are you
So
one the one
that's-
talking about
So
this?
that's why I have no wife to come home to.
Dude, I'm not.
Dude, he
20
said
years
this
old.
3 times about you, about not having a girlfriend
I
or a
don't
wife.
know.
Yeah,
or a
is that
woman.
your-
I can say it because I got no wife.
Yeah, bro, speak for yourself.
Not for him.
Boy, what if he does and you just don't know it?
Well, maybe.
Yeah,
Good
right?
for him.
He's the real youngest.
She's sleeping right
I would rather believe that he has a boyfriend than he has a wife.
That's his
I
preference.
think
Nothing.
I think the worst part is like the fact that so many other countries have taken out all the bad stuff from sodas, food, cereal, even. And America's the only one that just says, nope, we're going to keep it in, knowing what it does to people. And I think that's really the scariest thing to face. And a lot of the I mean, here's the thing, right? I'm just going to tell a quick story. We're on a treadmill, and there's this guy behind us. I would say he was relatively overweight. But we were talking about, well, he was talking about politics and stuff, and, you know, he asked us a couple questions, whatever. And the conversation came about foods and what the government doesn't tell us, how they're trying to feed us bullshit and all that kind of stuff, right? Then he goes to say, organic food are more expensive, but they're definitely healthier. And I know this because I've done the diet and I've lost so much weight. He said I was actually in a good shape. And then, I mean, I'm looking at him and he's back to overweight. So, like, my question was like, oh, what happened? Like, did you stop eating it? Or like, you know, that kind of stuff. And then he said, yeah, I stopped eating it, right? And I don't know, it was I think I should have still like asked him, but sometimes when you don't know the person, he's a complete stranger, it's kind of awkward to keep on asking him, oh, like, why did you stop? You were in a better shape. Because it could be the money, because he said it's more expensive and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't want to
Sure.
make him uncomfortable.
But it's like you
the
guys both
idea
knew
is-
the truth, right?
But exactly.
there.
But there, he said the truth himself without necessarily looking truth in the eyes. You know what I mean? Because he knew why he was overweight again. But then he also knew the solution. But he wasn't going after the solution. Because people need to understand that no matter what it is, your health is your wealth. So at the end of the day, no matter how much money you have, no matter what you have in this life, your health is still the number one thing you have. You know what I mean? You can't do anything if you don't have health. You know what I mean? Because I know this from experience. Every time you're sick or even just a little flu and stuff, it still gets in the way of regular activities. Sometimes when you don't even have appetite, that's just the weirdest and like worst feeling ever. You know what I mean? So that's the importance of health right there. So if you know that that's what the diet does, why not pay the extra money for good food?
Yeah.
And I think the hard thing about that is people were just ignorant. The amount of injuries that I had to go through, the amount of, illness that I have to go through to learn my lesson was just a couple times, and I think that's just what people are like. You know, sometimes we have to go through the difficulties multiple times to really understand that we need to change and we need to stay on that right path. Just
Sure.
what it takes, but
People stunt their growth too with just like short-ending themselves with not taking that extra step towards making a better diet
exactly.
or putting those extra reps in the gym.
Right. And the worst thing is
Sure.
they know what they know the right way towards it, but they still ignore it. That's the worst part about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I understand if you don't
you
know
have to
it, but
understand that personal trainers, everybody knows the solution being healthy. It's not common. It's not
It's not a lack of education.
It's not a lack of education.
It's lack of
simply
action.
Lack of action, and you have to admit it. Food tastes good. I cannot blame anyone for being fat. Again,
I
what I'm
can.
going to mention later, but also because it's so easy.
you can.
It's so accessible. I can't.
When you say you can't blame someone for being fat, like what do you mean exactly?
I mean, as in, dude, if it was that easy, cheaper, tastes better, of course it's going to happen.
Yeah,
But
I know. what you
But
mean.
then you have to
Not
ask a different
perfect.
question,
What?
right? But then after that, you have to go and ask a different question.
Look,
I mean,
it's
I see where you're coming
absolutely
from,
their
but
fault. Absolutely,
there's always
but
yeah.
I'm saying, like, you cannot blame someone. You cannot get mad at someone at it when it's so accessible.
I can.
You have to go a little further and say maybe it's America's problem because guess what? We're the only country with over 50% of people that are overweight.
Right.
Like
I mean, you kind of can though because
What?
he was.
pointing the finger at someone else and making
George, give him the mic.
I'm not putting the finger on
Hand
anybody
him-
else though.
What is it?
Have you
Putting
brought
finger
up
on
No,
the-
but like
Um,
for
schools
people
that-
and
who are
I'm
fat,
gonna
it's
bring-
like, is it really the government's fault? Is it the store's fault? It's like you could say, but they put it in front of my face,
I
but like
mean,
you made the decision at the end of the
It's
day.
more addictive. Why? How does the food industry work?
Uh,
It's meant for profit, just like drugs. You cannot blame people for taking pill on pill on pill, because it's meant to be that way.
He means that you can't blame someone not because they're not the ones that they're who are doing the action. They are. He's saying you can't blame them because it's so damn good. That's why. Like, I get what you're trying.
But it's
to
just
say.
taking the
Of
easy
course,
route.
Still, of
It-
course,
It's
really
like
your fault.
it's the ranks. I think he's trying to get it. In my opinion, one second. I'm gonna
Dude,
start that.
it's
and
pretty-
I'll-
Josh,
I
why
see
don't
it as
you
like-
bring up the
It's
statistic?
always your
a decision.
your decision.
but it's also the easy route. Easy route. You just choose
But
the easy route every single
How
day.
much easier can it be to make a decision when everything around you tells you go down this route? From the day we were born, we are told to become fat, and essentially, not actually be told, but essentially the way they
Like
guide us, the
indirectly.
way they tell us, the way they feed us, we are designed to become fat in America.
Mhm.
That's only in America.
Yeah, they're
They make it
brainwashing
normal.
us.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
Make it
They're
like normal.
normalizing
Make
it.
it normalized.
So
Yeah.
There are exceptions to that, like genetic issues that people could
Oh,
have.
absolutely. I'm not even
So
gonna go
not
down
to say that
direction.
everybody,
Yeah.
just so you don't get reamed later for that.
Thank you for.
You're
thank
welcome.
you for putting that. Yeah.
You
We're not
also
going with
mentioned
that.
that
Percentage of
the,
that.
the foods taste better, right? But I mean, I would disagree with that because I mean, he even said it too.
Would you rather eat a cheesecake or celery?
See, that's the thing. Like he also said, he ate Dunkin' Donuts. He didn't feel good, and then he eats something else for breakfast. He felt so much better. I mean,
But
it
in
just
the moment,
it really comes
in the
down
moment,
to
just like alcohol.
I don't know. I would probably
Not
say
just
no.
like
I
alcohol,
would
sorry.
disagree.
Well, that's
George
Personal
brought up a
preference.
very
That's
good
it.
point too. Yeah.
I would disagree
No,
with
no.
that.
When you're so
No,
used to
it
healthy
does not.
diet, the
Because they
unhealthy
just
diet
haven't
feels
never-
so bad that you don't want to go to it. Now, this isn't to say that's every fast food because there
Not
are some
every
fast
fast
foods
food.
that you actually crave, even
Most
even
of
if
them
you're
do not taste like good. I mean, I
Yeah,
wouldn't say-
exactly.
I wouldn't. I just
at
wouldn't
least
agree.
after
That's my
feeling.
opinion.
So, but to go back to what I was trying to say, to rank whose fault it is, so to speak, without trying to victimize anyone or anything, to be honest, because I don't really like that. I don't think any of us do.
Yeah.
But I think the government, as much control as they do with the food, they are able to reduce so many chances and probabilities of people being fat and unhealthy. It's crazy. Because the fact that they have so much control that people are getting fat now, they also have the same type of control if they were to cut out all those ingredients from the food. And if somebody picks up the same cereal except with better ingredients, the cereal is still going to be cereal. It's just going to be different ingredients. You know what I mean? Breakfast is still going to be the same thing like cereal, but the ingredients are going to be different. This is to say that government can't control a lot. However, I think people need to understand that it's going to be very hard for government to change that because of the money that goes into it, the business and everything, right? So people need to acknowledge that and change that. we all know the government's part of this. The only thing is we are taking accountability on ourselves, saying that it's very hard for us to try to change the government because the money's already in there and everything else, right? And it would take so many people, and I don't know what it would take. It would just take a lot for them to really change that, at least as of right now.
Well, I actually tell you, no, Robert F. Kennedy was very emphasized. I'm not going to become political here, but one of his biggest points as a politician has been to help, just like Michelle Obama, help fix the diet of kids in school systems. Something that he's highlighted
No, exactly.
as one
Like
of his
little
campaigns.
things like that, but it's not
That is
gonna change.
all I'm saying is there is an
super
emphasis,
fast.
and there is actually some progress being made towards that that sector of America.
Right. But what we can do step by step is stuff like this, right? We're talking about this. People are going to hear this. I hope most of the people hear about this. They spread the word awareness because that's
They actually
literally
do it. I
what
think
it
that's
comes
the most
down
important.
to.
They do it. You know what I mean? I feel like
Yeah.
where we're speaking right now, like at least a little bit of stuff that are very important. They know it. They all know it. They've all heard it. They're just not doing it. I think the most
Yeah,
important part
applying
is people,
is a very
people are not
important thing.
doing
but-
it. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he said, bro. If he's telling, he's a personal trainer. He tells people, do this when you get home. He's literally telling them what to fucking do. They just don't do it. That's the problem. They don't do it. They know it, but they just don't do it.
Yeah,
like somebody tells you, go home, literally cook eggs and meat. You know what to do. You just don't do it.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Not the information. For everybody has the information now. I mean, dude, phones, search up anything, you'll find it in seconds. You search up in Google, what should I eat? Like healthy breakfast, it'll give you a whole like fucking a list of what to eat. You just have to do it, but people just don't do it. That's all.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And,
And-
something we didn't.
Something we need to.
I was just
Tell
going to
them.
say that there is, touching upon the political aspect of things, there's a book called Food Politics that really goes into in-depth detail
Right.
about all of that.
Okay,
And
interesting.
that
About how
Jungle
like the
book, right?
government is
Also
corrupt about like or not corrupt, but just about the food industry rather.
Yes.
How corrupt they are with like
About how food
politics is
industry
involved with-
can be dictated by
government
finances, essentially.
Yeah. It's all
and-
dictated by
Yeah.
finances, though. I
For the
thought-
most part, but there's also people out there, like the FDA was created to regulate it and make sure that
that's
things
right,
are
that's right. Mhm.
safer.
And there are some good brands that are coming out. I saw this one like wellness chip brand that's out or whatever. Like some people are starting to
Nice.
step up, which is nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
exactly.
good.
People like
Should we
us.
get to the?
Well, one last element I want to say just about the influence of America is I always highlight environment. And I think that probably is the biggest portion of why I keep saying, like, this is America's fucking issue from the first place. Because imagine when you have people around. Me and Sasha have the luxury and the not gratitude, but we've gone to
Privilege.
Europe. Privilege. That's a good way to put it. To go to Europe. And it's just a fucking night and day difference in terms of people in shape. The
Yep.
way they
Same
serve the
weakness as
food.
well.
Yeah, exactly. So you know the difference. You can see the difference. You feel like an outsider if you're fat there.
Dude, it's
And that's a
you do.
good
every
thing.
single
That's a-
They
aspect
shame you
could
almost.
imagine.
They don't shame you, but it's pretty obvious they shame you. Like, they don't say anything. It's just like,
But they.
you're the only
obviously.
fat person here.
You feel it, yeah.
Exactly.
It's an indirect
And that's
message.
a great thing, in a way. I mean, some people, for some, it's not.
But to
Then
an
you're
extent,
too
I think it's
sensitive if that's
necessary.
It's
the
going
case.
to push
Like,
you.
you should
Yes,
face that.
Exactly.
I agree. Like it's hard to hear, of course, but it's what you need to hear at the end of the day. And the reality is, like when you go to the European countries, like Josh was bringing up, every single aspect of the food is nearly different. Fast food restaurants
See, so much
are
healthier,
entirely
bro.
different because products or literal ingredients are banned from the countries. The servings the portions at restaurants are smaller, and the plates are smaller as well, so that it makes it look more fit, like what we were talking about earlier. It's every other thing that is just so much better. So if America could reflect the European countries in that aspect, you wouldn't be
it
seeing
would
a
be
lot of
great.
the
It would
whale
be
out of
great.
waters.
But just talk about the American system. I want to highlight what it's doing to our kids in a way, which is, in case you didn't know, the American Heart Association says that the upper limit, and I mean the maximum limit for children, should be 12 grams of added sugar per day. Just so you guys know, for context.
It's crazy.
Now, the National School Breakfast Program in America, which, keep in mind, 29% of all school children consume today,
And
is
how many percent?
29%. And I really, with 250 million Americans, I don't know how many are children. I would have guessed at least 4 or 5 million people, at least. have 29%. Oh, I'm sorry, I said 29%. Their average breakfast, not average, their breakfast every day is a bowl of Fruit Loops and a glass of orange juice.
Woohoo!
And just to give you an idea of how much sugar, added sugar, not just sugar, added sugar, is in those two things is about 41 grams. So by the time of 10 in the morning, or whenever the fuck you eat breakfast, your first meal of the day, you're already 30 grams
6 sometimes.
over the maximum limit of added sugar you should be having every day as a child in your most important development days or development years of your life.
Yeah, right.
Now that's just breakfast.
Mornings.
Now you add,
Super
you know how kids love their fucking desserts. They love their candy. So if I were to guess, approximately 100 grams of added sugar every day, if I were to guess.
And they come home and they eat cereal again. I've heard. I know people that come back home eat cereal.
Yeah, dude, we've waited so patiently.
I
Can
would
we just
fucking
start
do that.
tearing apart the food industry? Because that shit alone pisses me the fuck off. First,
Dude,
like
the
this
kids is the worst
alone-
part, I swear,
This
dude.
alone, like fucking kids who grow up and they watch sports, they watch these track athletes, they watch football athletes, whatever. These athletes are being paid so much fucking money to sponsor other products. So they go out and on their interviews, post-game interviews, and they have a Gatorade bottle right next to them. That Gatorade bottle having 28 grams of fucking added sugars when the recommended for kids is 12, right? So kids look at that shit, they see it.
Coca-Cola,
They're like-
Pepsi, right
For the
next to
record,
them.
these are athletes that don't even fucking drink the product they're sponsoring. These are athletes that are
Exactly.
spending like 6 figures on just on a year on like fucking having a really good nutritionist or diet, whatever. You think the fucking nutritionist is telling them, yeah, go enjoy this 40 gram sugar fucking Red 40 drink or whatever? Like,
Of course not.
It's so we're about to go off. I'm
Dude,
going for all
God
that.
bless
It's-
Ronaldo for doing that. Remember what he did with Coca-Cola?
Nah.
He literally set that aside, and Coca-Cola lost so much. Like,
they lost
That's
yeah,
my
what,
goat.
billions, I
Billions.
That's my goat.
Exactly. That's literally. I think he placed.
Did Messi do it?
Coca-Cola
No,
on
Messi
the side.
fans. Did
Just
Messi do it?
water.
No. They said
Yeah, he said no and just placed it on the
Messi
side.
could never.
And it was crazy, dude.
Messi would
Like
like-
that. Look, yo, that simple thing that one player did. Can you imagine if most of the
Oh
athletes
my
do
god,
that?
yeah. And then also like Logan Paul, KSI, and Speed. I know they're all sponsored to promote Prime.
Exactly.
Prime has 0 added sugars or whatever, but it's still fucking garbage. It's still fucking garbage.
And
of course,
artificial sugar.
Yeah,
Why
so
don't
like,
we know less
it's
any bad?
artificial, like what he just said. It's so many
caffeine.
different fucking.
Caffeine makes
There's a
you
lot
sweet.
of caffeine.
There's a shit.
No,
ton,
that
right?
doesn't make it sweet, but that's another chemical that's in there that could make it more addicting for people.
Does it actually have high caffeine?
Mhm.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it
I
has
didn't
200.
know
Yeah,
it had
Prime,
high
and it's
caffeine.
also it's a lot of
milligrams.
Not the energy drink. The
Oh, I don't know. About
Hydration.
that. I'm not sure about
Prime
that.
energy drink.
yeah, there is.
Prime hydration.
Yes, there is.
Prime energy.
But
Oh,
also
really?
just
Oh,
the
I did not know
electrolytes,
that
how they
part
brand it or whatever. It's like zero. It's trash fucking electrolytes, realistically.
And
You really
also
wanna
pay
watch it?
attention to like going on to
Equivalent to
Gatorade
water.
or Powerade.
Something like that, bro.
A lot of times it's either 2 servings or 2.5 servings per bottle
Yeah.
in there.
That's
Dude,
a
so-
good-ass
did you remember
point.
they would say something like equivalent
Yeah.
to water? I
For
remember.
what?
For Prime.
Oh, is that how they
Yeah,
promote it? They're
equivalent
like,
to
oh, this
water,
has 0
but-
grams of
but
added
sweet.
sugars, just like water. Like,
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude, that's literally how they promote it, which is crazy.
it's all like here's the thing. It's all a branding game.
Yeah,
And
it
you
is.
know what? Before we actually, I know I brought it up. I'm sorry that I'm switching it. The thing is, I feel like when you ask yourself the question, how can most people steer away from having UPFs, is looking through or just like being educated upon like the evils of the food industry, whatever, right? So part of that is us going to be trashing this food industry and what really
have
is.
to.
But also, Jesse, earlier you mentioned that you would drink these energy drinks, and you had mentioned that it was a goal of yours to get off of it, and you successfully did. A lot of people cannot accomplish that. So one, props to you. I'm proud of that.
Thank you.
And second of all, how did you go about doing that? I know you mentioned just slowly doing it. You can't cold turkey it. Great. But was there anything else to it?
I actually opened up an Excel spreadsheet and put it on a calendar. And for the first week, I had 300 milligrams per day. For the next week, it was 250 milligrams per day of caffeine.
Yeah.
And then just slowly reducing it by 50 for each week.
That's
and then
great.
eventually, like, there are products out there, like, obviously it doesn't go by 50s for every single increment.
Yeah.
You just have to get to the next piece down.
Uh-huh.
So they're not going to sell it in cases of 7. So you're going to have to, like, purchase some individual, or you're going to have to extend out the amount of time that you're
Uh-huh.
consuming that amount of caffeine.
But also, like, those energy drinks, they expire in, like, 2025. So you can just buy, like, 8-pack and have, like, once a fucking week.
You could, yeah.
Well, that's what like their expiration date is, right? Like they don't expire for like fucking months.
It depends on what
That's
else
true.
is in
I
it.
don't know, like Red Bull.
And
probably
then
is,
like even water has an expiration date just because of the plastic.
yeah,
That's
but that's
in
also
there.
like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
I think
Let me see.
I don't know if it'll say
energy
it
drinks are a
anywhere.
couple months.
Yeah, I've never seen
It might say it on the actual case
Yeah, it would
itself.
be on the case if anything, not on the individual bottle. But anyways,
But
Wow.
was part of your journey also understanding like what really goes into the energy drinks, how much processed it is, what it can do in the long term, what you would see was doing to you, the fact that you were so addicted to it. I bet those components had a lot to do with you wanting to get off of it in the first place. Just like how he mentioned, everybody should have these information and these thoughts in the back of their mind, what it's gonna do to them in the long term,
Mhm.
and understand the evil that goes into the promotion of this. They're not gonna drink it, but they're promoting for you to drink it. That's just bad.
Yeah. And one of the primary drives that I had for me specifically was my hydration, like how I felt. So
yeah,
like
the headaches.
Yep, headaches if I didn't have it, and then also like I would wake up in the morning because I chronically had it for so long. My eyes would be just super dried out. Like it was one thing that you wouldn't even think of, like
Right.
if you weren't having it chronically. But at the same time, like as soon as I got rid of it, then like I woke up and my eyes weren't dry. So
What happens? Why does your eyes get dry?
So
Why do your
caffeine
eyes-
will be a diuretic, so it'll dehydrate you. So chronically having it for that prolonged period of
So
time,
it kind of like sucks water
Mhm.
out of your body.
it'll basically like push that water out, kind of thing.
damn.
So
Why
your
does it do
body
that?
needs the basically the fluid in your body or the water in your body to dilute all of the chemicals that are in your body.
Okay.
So just having all of those energy drinks, it adds
Oh,
more
yeah.
and more chemicals. So just having to keep having water and water and water. And obviously when I go to sleep, I'm not drinking water. So yeah, I woke up and I was just feeling super dehydrated.
Just curious. Not that this would be a solution, right? But what if you drink a lot of water and also have energy drink? Would you still have headaches and those feelings of dehydration, or
You wouldn't have those feelings throughout the day, but you might wake up with those feelings.
okay, yeah. So either way,
Just
Yeah,
because
you're
they
not
have
escaping.
fallen.
that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I forget. I'm not gonna put a number out, but
Sure.
when you go to bed and when you wake up, like the amount of water your body needs to keep it functioning is why you're so dehydrated. I forget how much percentage, but
Mhm.
a lot of water gets drained when you're asleep.
Yes. So essentially, like, there are people that will lose like pounds at night just because of not drinking water. But at the same time, like, yeah, you can get that water, just consume it really quick. And water does absorb into your body relatively quickly. So that is one thing that, as far as hydration goes, you need to pay attention to the color of your urine.
Yeah, right.
And like the
That's the
opaqueness
best way to
of
tell, yeah.
your
You know what's
urine.
funny? As a kid, I always thought you were hydrated when you had yellow. I'm not kidding.
It was
was
so
the complete
informed.
opposite.
The opposite, yeah.
I didn't
That's
know
okay.
that,
Yeah.
Dude, honestly,
didn't
that's
know.
one of my
I was so
that
proud
is-
of myself when I had the yellows. face.
And it's an
Wow, mine's
education
disordered.
thing as far as nutrition goes. There's an education aspect to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like that should be like one of the prime like motivators when it comes to like just staying hydrated. Like when I take a piss, like I feel so accomplished when it's just see through.
Yeah, exactly.
And not like
Yeah.
yellow.
That's
Disgusting.
because I remember I heard this information from Salil. He's the one that told me that's how you kind of know.
No.
So
Yeah,
every
that
time
is
I,
really
when I
dumb.
went to the bathroom and I saw what color he was, I was like, oh shit, that means I need more water. That's how I
Boom.
kept in check. I mean, that's how I do it now.
Good.
Yeah,
That's excellent.
That's how I
It's
do
like
it,
the
basically.
simple thing that some people really don't know, which is crazy. But you know, stuff like
I mean,
this
what's
will
the other
really
one you
help
tell?
you a lot.
Won't you be thirsty though if you need water?
You would be able to tell, like,
Dry mouth,
dry mouth, yep, would be one significant one.
headaches, or
Sweating
big thing.
armpits.
Yeah, headaches, big one.
Oh,
like
really? Sweating
significantly
armpits?
sweating armpits.
Really?
Like not just like, oh, I got the stress
Oh,
sweats.
interesting.
But at the same time, it's like just chronically like sweat does mean that you're starting to get dehydrated just
Yeah.
because you are sweating. You're losing hydration.
A bit lack of energy too, because when you drink water, you just get so energized. Like I've
Mhm.
had moments where you don't have water, but then when you drink it, Even when
Yeah.
you're hungry, because I've done fasting, just water fasting, no food, and just drinking water would help me so much throughout the day, kill that hunger type of thing.
Yeah.
So.
And it helps to
Water's
fill up
crazy.
your stomach. And then one thing
Tricks
is
your brain too.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But it also helps, like, we're a majority of water. So when we lose a very small percentage of water, I think it's like 2 or 3%
Yeah.
below what we're supposed to have, then you definitely, like, you'll feel it significantly.
Yeah. Game. Georgie, I think this happens when you also cut weight too, right? When you cut weight, you just drink water and you just
You don't.
significantly.
You don't
No,
drink water.
after the
Oh,
cut.
yeah,
After you make the weight, you just drink water and your weight just significantly goes up out of nowhere, right? Yeah.
Like a
Yeah,
sponge.
Yeah. I think I want to go back to the whole education stuff because before this podcast, I told you guys that I used to work at a preschool as a cook. I used to cook food like in bulk for the kids, for the preschoolers and stuff like that, because I was a cook for the gym that it was a part of. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But the whole point was about the stuff I was feeding these kids, the stuff I was told to feed these kids, and they, to be honest, like they tried their best, but they still didn't have the awareness of, okay, what is an actual good diet for these kids? Because the whole place was ran by a bunch of women, right? They just want the kids to be happy. They just want the kids to be like, wow, this tastes so good, right? They're not really worried about like the long term the decline benefits, whatever, no benefits. But when I was feeding these kids, right, I would grab out for breakfast. It would be like a canned fruit in bulk, and then a sugary French toast sticks. I'd heat them all up, serve them with syrup. Or no, like they would already have syrup on the sticks already.
Wow.
And
Extra syrup.
Well, like pre-order.
I would heat up the French toast stick. I would touch it, and this
Absorbing
oily,
them? I think
this
that's what it
oily
means.
stuff would be on my fingers now. This like this sugary, syrupy stuff, and I'm feeding this stuff to the kids.
Like the melted sugar, right?
I would have
You're
so
part
many
of the
times.
problem, dude.
I think almost like I would say more than
Less.
80% of the time I felt guilty feeding these foods to these kids because it's like,
You're
wow,
killing them.
like this is the next generation here.
You're a murderer.
You're a bad.
No, I'm genuinely like I felt really bad because these kids would go home after breakfast, carb crash. After lunch, carb crash. They take a nap. They eat some snack, carb crash. They go home, nap again probably. I don't know. It's just I felt so bad for doing that. And the girls that ran the place, it's like is no offense to them or anything, but they just didn't have the awareness of like what's an actual diet for these kids. Like what do they actually eat? What do they need? Because then I would all they would have is like oil sprays and stuff. Like I didn't say avocado oil, just like
Canola.
Almost like a
No, it's like-
Pam or
no,
something
it's like
that.
a waffle spray.
Oh, all right.
Now it doesn't taste like waffle, but it's for waffles or something like that. It would be like this weird. It had 15 ingredients in this one little spray can.
Just that, and then
Interesting.
everything
Well,
else.
is that like waffle, like the batter?
Like
For the
you,
waffle
no,
and the spray
you would do it so it doesn't stick on the
Oh,
pan.
I know what you're talking about.
It
yeah,
would
yeah.
stick
no,
to the
it's-
side of
okay,
it.
okay,
Those
okay,
are
okay.
really bad.
But-
I didn't even smell them. It's so
Yeah,
bad.
I know. What you're
Like
talking
the
about.
kids would get muffins for snack. They would get fruit with a canned fruit. The fruit would soak up in the juice and the juice had added sugars in it as well.
Yes,
so
it
like
does.
soak in that,
That's it.
gives it to the kids. They're like
Or the
carb crash, glucose. Like these kids could have diabetes by the time they're fucking 10 years old.
Also,
That's
the
why in America
fruit
most
cups.
of the kids do have them.
And they already
In
start
a
getting
very
like
early
bigger and
age.
fatter and like thicker. Like, dude, like you shouldn't be looking like that. You should be a kid, right? You shouldn't
Yeah,
be
right.
Wait, when you say the canned fruits, are you talking about like those plastic
He's
cups?
definitely talking about the fruit cups.
The
No,
plastic-
canned. Like these like big cans because they ordered everything in bulk.
Yeah, like canned peaches.
Canned fruit, canned peaches.
Yeah.
But they would sit to
Yeah.
preserve them in juice.
It'd be like
Oh, in juice.
That size around.
Yeah, they
and,
would be
that's
like these cans like this tall,
it's like bulk ordering.
this wide, like this. I would have to use the can opener.
Special can opener where it's just like you have to.
Yeah, and I would have to like I would
Yeah.
have
The
to
metal cutter, yeah.
pour out all the juice inside the can because I'm not serving them the juice and stuff. They would get like some of the kids would get parfaits with like granola and stuff like that. They would get honestly they were low key spoiled if you think about it, but the whole point
Not
is
the
that
right way, bro.
people just are not they just don't know what to eat, and these kids are gonna grow up thinking, what do you mean? I should eat French toast sticks every day. That's the best breakfast for me, right?
They think it tastes good, so that's what I should have.
It's like these kids don't even have the opportunity to develop and actually eat something that's nutritious for their body. Like these kids are already growing up at like a disadvantage.
Yeah.
With
And-
just the whole food industry and stuff.
Yeah, I think that is really the worst part. The kids. Wait, Jesse, do you have kids?
I don't have kids.
Oh, okay.
I have cats.
Cats. Because I was gonna say, like, how do you really prevent that as a parent? And what would you have to do when you send your kids to school? And obviously, they will want to have breakfast. They got friends.
You feed them
They're-
at home.
They got their friends around them that also eat breakfast. They will obviously have some. Like, how do you really prevent these type of stuff?
I don't have an answer for that. I don't have kids.
You got cats.
Don't you would relatively know some of the answer?
What I would do. Actually, like this is my answers.
All right, let's go,
Um,
Georgie.
Ready? First of all, you make them breakfast so they don't eat in school.
Yeah.
Second, you teach them
lunch.
not to eat those kind of stuff in school. You give
Yeah.
them a basic information. They don't need to. You can't give them too much because they're not gonna be able to understand. Like the little bit of stuff that like the basics.
Yeah.
I mean that's it.
These
you
kids
know?
are smart. Yeah, they will understand these stuff.
Yeah. I mean, what do you? That's just what I would do.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
really
I
think
have a pretty good
education
one.
is really
Go.
or
There's
beat
no
their ass,
answer.
right?
There's no answer. Why not?
I feel
Until
like
you're a
there's.
parent, you don't know the answer.
I feel
Because
like-
that's how
Oh, yeah,
you
dude,
are.
you can
I'll
compare
tell you
your-
Josh's answer.
Yeah.
Josh just beats the bricks
Look,
out of Tim.
I was
When
gonna
he
say,
sees
beat
Josh
their
out-
ass.
Oh
when
my.
he sees Tim like not eating correctly.
No. I think you. I think all of us should think about these type of
Absolutely.
questions
but, look,
until we're parents. Obviously,
I
when
think
you're a
it's- I
parent,
think it's
some
very
things will
similar
change.
to the phone discussion. You can't just not give your kid a phone, because I argue it's just as bad as giving a kid a phone.
Yeah,
Same
oh,
thing
it's
with a
completely
credit
cut
card.
out.
Well,
Look,
Like
completely
with the
cut
credit
out.
card, as soon as a kid is old enough for a credit card, but when is the right age for a credit card?
Exactly. So.
Or when is the right age to give them an allowance?
Exactly.
It's different for every
It's
single
different for every
child, every
parent.
single situation.
Look, if you had all the time in the world, you'd absolutely make them.
That's
food.
why I said.
But
That's why I
here's the
told
thing
school
is,
this.
There's no perfect scenario, especially as a parent. It's
How about
on
this?
how
My
you
ideal
cook
goal
it,
is for my kids not to, be addicted to their phone, right? Obviously, but I would try to reduce the chances of them even picking up a phone to the lowest
you
I
see,
can.
That's great.
Because I think
but that
kids,
you see,
you can raise your kids the way you want to. You can
Mhm.
educate them and
No,
teach
you're
them
right.
what's fun and how they can have fun. Because the amount of things that kids can do for fun other than the phone, because if the parents are not on their phone 24/7, which is the case for the most part, the parents are on their phone 24/7, how do you expect the kid not to play on their iPad?
well, you have to
So
also
maybe
think
you
of it
have
this
to
way.
have a good relationship with the phone in the household, so that way kids see what they need to be doing for fun, and you play with them.
So when the parent is
engage with
busy
them.
and the kid has to wait, what do? Because parents are busy. You can't just devote all your time to your kids. And then
Bro,
on
you
top of
can
that,
give them
when all the
crayons, you can
kids-
give them
and when all
pencils
the
to
kids-
draw, have
But when
fun.
all their friends have phones, what do you think they're gonna do?
Yes, I'm not saying they can't have phones at
Yeah.
all. However, it also depends on your friend group, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the kind of parent you are, you will have the same kind of, the other parents will have the same mindset with how they want to raise the kids. At least that would be the ideal scenario.
You usually
So,
don't find the parents,
my-
you find the kids
so my-
first.
What?
You find the friends, the kids.
No.
Find their
You
friends,
find
and then
your
you find
friends.
Their parents. Well, not all your friends are gonna have children the same age as your child.
But then you're saying they are around the kids that have iPads, right?
Josh
But
is
then
saying
you can
it's,
control.
it's reverse order. Like you go off of the friends that your kid made, and
Yeah.
then you see what their parents are. But still, as an adult, you have the ability to be like, listen, these guys are fucking idiots. Which is still like a fucked up thing. Like it's realistically, I don't mean I
Well,
don't
how
want to
old are
cut
we
you
talking?
off. I don't know.
I was
Whatever. Well,
talking
you're
I was talking
yeah.
in the age where your kids are not necessarily going out and looking for friends,
Mhm.
but it's like your friends have kids or they meet them at the park, maybe you invite them over,
What
you
is
go
that,
over
around,
them,
like 6
that
to
kind of thing.
10?
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
That type of thing. Plus,
No,
when
not
you're a
even.
kid, I'll be honest,
Like
it's all connections, right? Just like how we connect to our peers because we are kind of similar to them or we have a similar mindset. That's how kids are.
Mhm.
I think a kid who has more fun, let's say playing in the sand or playing with their drawing with their crayons, all that kind of stuff, is most likely gonna find more fun playing in that than a kid who has an iPad and screams like a maniac. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I think that's just
how do you-
really what
how
it
do
comes
you
down
feed
to, and
them?
how do you
Because
raise them?
you
and
also
Here's
have
what
to
I was gonna
remember.
say,
You also have to remember, kids from I think from age 1 to 3, they absorb everything you tell them, and kind of like how you raise them, like a sponge. So if you raise them with phones, if you teach them, dude, you sit down with a kid and you start playing, like drawing and stuff, they're gonna absorb that. So they're gonna know that they're gonna have fun with that, and they're gonna kind of like adapt to that, rather than seeing your kids seeing you like you're on your phone a lot. They're all gonna be like watching. Like, when they're with you and you're on your phone watching something, they're gonna be watching too, right? So it's like, what do you?
You're reinforcing
exactly.
the idea that
Yes.
it's okay.
See, that's the way I would put it. Like, there's a thing where kids don't do what you tell them to do. They do what they see you do.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So it's a matter of the way you reflect your teachings. Because the idea is we want to be able to teach our kids, yes, this is good for you. Enjoy this, have fun in this, find fun in this specific activity, not in this being like the phone or whatever, right? But the thing is, when you go about, or not, like when it comes to you having this be like, fuck, I'm going to force him to go outside, I'm going to force him to play with crayons or whatever, then it becomes negative, and then the kid will go gravitate to the phone
They do the
naturally.
opposite.
Exactly. But
yeah.
if you as a parent could reflect in your teachings through you actually practicing what you preach, and you consistently going outside, and you having fun with them, and you having a catch with them, whatever, they're going to naturally find more fun in that.
Exactly.
Now, here's the thing. None of us are fucking parents, okay?
Yeah,
So
I think that's where we should absolutely end it here. Please.
You're right,
Well,
but this
dude,
is just
if you
my
don't want
idea,
to talk
just my
about it, you
idea.
can always
Well,
opt out.
absolutely,
Just
but
because you don't enjoy this
Why
conversation,
talk about
I do.
something that you have no idea about?
But
Oh,
do you see
you
where
have
I'm going
no
with that?
idea?
No, you don't. Absolutely.
Well, I
not.
may
Because
not
every
have the
single
experience,
person-
but to have no
Exactly,
idea is a foolish
you
thing
have
to
no
say.
Experience. That's it.
Yeah, but to say you have no idea is a foolish thing because
until you have a kid, let's not talk about this.
Dude,
Well, if you
may
don't want to
not
talk
have
about it,
any
I do.
experience
So
or whatever,
I don't know
but
why you're
don't
trying
you
to.
think that in the direction I'm going in could be the one beneficial for you? Of course.
What if there are parents that are
man.
watching?
This is so
You don't think
similar
we
to the
can
fucking diet.
help them?
Everybody knows you eat this and that. It's a
Mhm.
matter of implementation.
They eat iPads, bro. Kids eat iPads.
Everybody knows how
They
the
start biting
proper
that
way you
shit.
should
You notice that?
raise a kid.
Some kids
You
do
can't.
that.
You can't. It's not easy. It's not easy. It means you have to spend all your time.
Well,
with
just
kids.
because it's not
There's
easy
no,
doesn't
like,
mean
one
it's
proper
impossible
way,
to
though.
teach
Well,
them
there-
good
no
habits.
proper way, but you understand what you should and shouldn't do. But until we have a kid, what we do know is what not to eat because we've experienced it. We have not experienced a kid. Simple as that.
That doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, but it doesn't.
Do you have a kid?
No, I don't. But I've seen
Maybe he
seen
does.
parents with
You've
kids.
seen,
I've
but
seen.
you have not done it. That's it.
I've been around kids.
That doesn't
I can
mean
tell you that much.
anything.
Just because I'm not a parent doesn't mean I haven't been around kids.
I'm sure you have been around kids.
Okay.
That doesn't tell you how you should raise a kid if you haven't raised a kid yourself.
I can at least have an idea or
You can
say
have
my
an idea,
opinion
you can say
on
your
how you
opinion.
can raise a kid, and it can be a
Absolutely,
better
of
one than
course.
an actual parent.
Of course it can. But I would recommend that you experience that experience first and then speak on the matter of giving people,
But why are you trying to
suggestions.
tell me what I should
I'm
talk
not trying to
about
tell you something.
because
All
I'm not
I
a
said- I
parent?
didn't
Well,
say
you
anything.
are
All I
because you're
said
saying
was
we should
let's-
end the episode
Exactly.
because
Exactly.
I don't want to talk about the matter
If
because
that's what
I
you
don't
want
have
to
the
do.
experience. What if
By all
I do?
means to do it, but you don't have
It looks
experience.
like you're just being
Yeah.
very selfish.
If that's
This
what you
information can
want,
actually
yeah.
benefit a lot of people.
Is this processed foods?
Yes, bro. They eat iPads. I'm telling you, that shit is processed hard.
We're talking about something
This
that's
shit is
not
like
the
games
topic
downloaded
and that
when you buy them.
all of us here have no experience in. You tell me the answer if that's selfish or not.
Dude, the way you're saying it, it is. If you don't want to talk about it, you can
Well,
can
I'll
even
shut up.
get
I'll
up,
shut up. You're
get
right.
up
You're
and
right.
not
I'll
even
shut up.
not even
You're
talk.
right.
Like
I'll
that's
shut
really
up.
your choice, bro.
You're
I'm
right.
just
I'll
trying to
shut
say
up.
that
Okay. I'll
I
shut
really
up.
think this can be beneficial to a lot of people.
Awesome. Let's make an episode about it, and then we can finish processed foods.
Heck
All right,
yeah.
I think we really said everything. Jesse, anything else you wanted to, like the advice that you would kind of finish the episode off with, so people really get that in their head. So
Some
I process
tips.
foods are bad. Yeah,
Some
exactly.
tips.
Let's go.
Consume more fruits and vegetables. Avoid sugary drinks. Try to have water instead. Read those labels. And sugar goes by a lot of names on the same label even. So one note I made for myself was some of the most common are sugar, corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, glucose, maltose, molasses, brown rice syrup, honey, agave, cane sugar, cane juice, fruit juice concentrate, date sugar, organic sugar, and sucrose. And there's also 40 different other ones. So, I'm sorry, there are 50 different other ones that can be listed on food labels.
Yeah, that's
So Another item to help people out are skip the convenience foods when possible. So try to prep your foods on the weekend when you have more time in order to do that.
Exactly.
As opposed to stopping at McDonald's on the way home. Then ditch the diet mentality. Try to think more, just eat more mindfully, eat more whole foods, things you can recognize. And when you go out to eat, don't stop going out to eat at restaurants, but like be more mindful when you're out at restaurants. So order stuff and just be conscious of like you're going to get a huge portion. So don't be afraid to take stuff home.
Exactly.
Or ask them to have the lunch portion, because sometimes they have a smaller portion for lunch than they do for dinner. So those are some good tips to at least start with.
Yeah.
I agree.
You know what?
My question for you. I'm sorry.
Go for it.
I remember I was thirsty. We were in Florida, and I wanted to get a drink that wasn't water. I'm a guy who always drinks water. But I was like, I want something else. And I was looking at literally every single drink. Me and Sasha were there. Remember in the Russian store?
No.
Russian store. We were looking at like the sodas,
Russian
stuff like
store
that.
in Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, every single drink had at least 20 grams of sugar. So besides water, what else can you really be having as a drink? Or would you recommend?
I would recommend in those situations, like you were in Florida, right?
Yeah.
So you were probably out in the sun a lot.
Yeah.
So I would say Powerade or Gatorade was probably okay at that point.
Yeah.
And just sipping on it, not just chug-a-lug kind of thing. Just because you are sweating more so you're going to lose out on some of those, like sodium, potassium.
Oh, that's smart.
Are you saying
yeah.
that because there wouldn't
Electrolytes.
be like other genuine beneficiary
It's
like,
probably
products with those in there?
not
Coconut
necessarily. It's like the lesser of two evils kind
Yeah,
of
okay,
thing.
yeah.
And that would be one that's more known to people.
Okay, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, but there's no option.
I'm not sponsored by Gatorade or Powerade or Crumble, obviously. So
But guess what? Bros think big R.
yeah, hope so.
yeah, well, what I was trying to say is earlier when you mentioned, I'm gonna, like, because I'm not done tearing apart this fucking retarded ass food industry. Earlier
why
when
we're
you
not sponsoring
mentioned, yeah, hell no. When you mentioned that they're, the grocery market, the layouts, right, inside the aisles, yeah, of course, there's the thing, like, outside of it is the disposables, quote unquote, but also inside of it, did you know that the companies that are, like, when you walk through the shelves, or the aisles, sorry, not walking through the shelves, you look through the shelves, and specific products are eye level to you.
Yes.
And if you notice, those are the products that are the bigger ones, like the more profitable ones,
Yes.
because theoretically, like, just through an equation, companies, the more successful ones, will pay off grocery markets to shelve them so that, listen, this is convenient to you, convenient to your eyesight, you're not looking up or down, whatever, right? It's just
Buy them.
easy access for you, right? Because also, another thing is, the more likely that it's like eye level, the worse it fucking is to you. Because if a company or like any type of food product is more successful, it's all a business.
Very
That means
good
it's
point.
more profitable, which means it's probably not fucking better for you. And yet that's what you see in front of your face
And
the
it's
most,
cheap,
right?
convenient.
Exactly. So that alone is fucking bullshit. This is something I brought up when we had that college presentation in Abington. That was one of the things. Like, these fucking companies literally pay the grocery markets off for you to suck off their thing just by looking at it the right way or whatever, right? Fucking bullshit. Second thing that I wanted to mention is I already mentioned it. It's about the athletes. Fuck them and how they like sponsor shit that they want. And of course, if I'm an athlete and I'm driven by money, I'm not gonna refuse a fucking $1 million offer by Nike or Gatorade to fucking promote their product, right? Because that, if I'm driven by money, of course I'm gonna fucking promote the $1 million deal sponsorship, right? So there's so much dog shit that goes into this as a whole. And we didn't really touch up too much on rather how to stop it. And my idea that I saw this chick on YouTube that when I was learning about this talk about is you could replace the word ultra processed with pre-digested. So what you're eating essentially isn't actually like, yeah, you're eating ultra processed foods, but it's also just pre-digested food. That's what ultra processed foods is essentially. So just think about you eating fucking pre-digested foods as a whole. Like having that label under it helps you stay away from that disgusting shit, then
And imagine
keep that label.
digested.
Exactly. Like, also, just knowing how these products are made in the factories, like Pringles. In that same YouTube video, I saw
I
how
would actually
Pringles are
suggest you guys
made.
to watch the videos of how
Yes,
they make
yes,
processed
that's
food,
exactly
the meats and stuff.
It
Just watch it.
fucking dude, and the worst part is I was doing this on break, so I'm eating on break, and I'm seeing how like companies make it, and I was so fucking disgusted. I was
Dude,
about
it
to lose my
straight up looks
appetite.
like
I said,
poop,
"Fuck the
bro."
podcast. I can't do it. I can't research it while I'm eating. I couldn't, or else I was gonna lose my appetite. It's just so fucking insane.
Yeah, exactly.
Really stay educated as far as this shit. Because the more you know about it, the more you want to stay away from it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's like
And the
key.
more money they have, the better they can market it and make the
Yeah.
food look
It's a
like
business.
it's the best.
But
Yeah.
it's crazy how
Commercials,
they,
dude.
it's crazy how they, like what you were saying. There's videos of them making those foods. We know it's disgusting, yet we still eat them. I don't know.
They're telling us little ingredients and stuff or the labels. They tell us stay away from
It's
it,
just crazy
and
how they
people
can-
still grab it. That's why partially we can't really blame them. We got to blame ourselves because we are those NPCs that go after the bad food. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Jesse
So-
said it's like a drug.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Cocaine.
And food is not something that you can just stop.
You got experience though.
And as far as the layout goes, that is touched upon in that food politics book that I talked about
Oh, for
earlier.
real?
Yeah.
Oh, that stuff.
And
Yeah.
also we should mention the other book, The Jungle, right? That was an interesting
Yes.
one too.
So the jungle. I'm blanking on the author's name, but it talks about how the
The
FDA
author.
is basically like getting better and better and better, but some of the reasons why they needed the FDA was being touched upon in that book, and how basically much chaos there was when it came to the food industry.
Exactly. And how they organized and just made it better, right?
Yes. So actually, things that are listed on the food label is actually in your food, as opposed to just whatever they needed to fill.
Exactly.
Whatever they found on the floor, whatever byproducts are remaining. Yeah. Now you can actually look at that food label with confidence and be like, yep, that's actually
Yeah, at least you know what's in there.
what's
now.
in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, at least we got that, right?
What's that?
Yeah.
What's the name of the book?
The
The
jungle.
jungle. Do we ask him the question from the previous guest?
I don't think this applies.
Well, the previous guest though, yeah. should-
Yeah, it does.
The previous
Even
guest.
though-
Not
no,
the
I know.
not
He's
the
our
three
guest,
questions.
so-
Yes,
No,
that's
but
the one.
he's
Oh, this
By
is the one?
Well, he's our
Upton
guest.
Sinclair.
returning
Yeah.
guest still.
The author
Yeah,
is-
so of course.
He's still our
Upton
guest.
Sinclair is the author of The Jungle.
This
Always
definitely
applies
seems
to Jesse.
Mhm.
We have
Can I
a
help you,
question
bro?
from our previous guest, and then
You
you
have a
will choose a
question?
question to
You've
ask
been AFK.
for the next one.
Ooh. Okay.
Ask
What's
them
your-
something hard, alright? So that they can't answer.
Okay.
Something hard, that's for sure. What's your deepest passion and why?
Yeah, let's run one more hour.
Passion. Are there any stipulations on that passion? Like, can it be world dominating, or can it be as simple as like something I enjoy?
Your heart.
My heart.
What does your heart tell you?
We can hear both. I think both will be interesting.
When it comes to as you get older in life,
Even though
I
you're
would
young.
say have a passion for finding a strong work-life balance. Like trying to actually enjoy life outside of work and leave work at work is something that will help you in the long run. And that's something I've been trying to do for a long time. And I'm pretty passionate about trying to make myself actually have a work-life balance.
Okay.
Wishing you the best.
Thank you.
What question would you ask the next guest? Could be anything.
Could be anything. Do you guys have anything in mind as far as a focus for next?
This
Not
one's
gonna
all
tell
you, man. This one's all
Alright.
you.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it.
Anything.
You don't know the next guest. You don't know the next topic.
Would
You,
you give
don't
your
know
kid a
anything.
phone?
I'm not gonna ask that one. That's a can of worms. Let's
Mike, are
see.
you? Are you?
I can't talk about it.
When
You're not
you
a fan?
dream, do you dream in black and white or do you dream in color?
Do you dream black and white?
That was so
Or do you
sarcastic.
dream
I
in
don't know how
color?
I didn't get
My
it.
shit's colorful. That's all.
What? Do you dream black and white?
Do you dream in black and white or do you dream in color?
Does
Oh.
anyone dream in black and
I
white?
didn't know that one.
I used to
I
have.
have.
I mean, I had.
I've dreamed in
black
color
white.
and in black and white before. It's really weird.
I can't remember the black and white.
At first, I thought you
Or-
were saying like,
I thought
are
they
your
had
dreams
metaphors
black
and
and
deeper
white
than
because
that.
they're like
It's
so
just a simple
Yeah.
question. Or
That's
do
what I
you
thought
remember
I
your
heard. Yeah,
dreams
but
or
then,
what's
like,
one of
wait.
the most memorable dreams that you can
I don't think I've ever
remember?
had a black and white dream.
The dream that I remember the
The
most
fuck?
is Man,
Bro's
I used to
trying
be
to
so
put me in
scared of the
one.
dark. Huge wolf. I remember just looking and I saw eyes on top of. There's a lot of big trees in my house.
Ooh.
And I
Oh,
saw
it was
like
here?
eyes.
Okay.
I saw eyes at the top and I thought I was tripping. So then, and then I look back and it's staring at me.
Oh man,
And then I die and then I wake up.
that's a terrible dream.
Yeah, that's why I remember
Oh my
it the
God.
most.
More like a revelation.
I've
That
had.
shit. At that time I was so scared of the dark. So imagine.
Have
Are
you
you
ever
so
had?
scared?
So many fears going
Yeah, I
up.
had so
He had
many
so
fears.
many
Did-
fears.
Did
Are
you
you
have
still
that
scared?
once?
Of the dark?
I'd still say I do feel.
Not as much though, right?
Yeah, not as I'm not.
There's just
I won't
some
not go in the
apprehension.
dark, but I don't want to go in the dark. You know,
Yeah.
that's a good way to put it.
That's fair. Is that like a recurring dream that you've had?
No, I just had it once. I still
Okay.
remember it to this day.
I've had one recurring dream, and it's,
One?
it was
I had
horrifying.
multiple recurring dreams. The hell?
Oh man,
I still do. Yes.
Subconscious trying to tell you something.
I guess, and I'm doing it wrong apparently because it keeps telling me.
Symbols, yeah.
So
But,
I think that.
yeah.
I think that. pretty
What
much-
is it?
Oh fuck! Yeah, I forgot about
Yeah,
these.
just
Shit.
keep going.
Jesse, we like for the guests to read the quote of the day.
The quote of the day is: "Don't focus on how much you eat, focus on what you eat."
True.
Shout out on Insta.
No, we do the shoutouts.
Oh, you do the shout outs. Never mind.
No,
Does
Jesse
this quote
can
not
do
have
it.
an author?
Podcast.
Or is it
You
it
do.
Joshua Nikolaevsky?
It's King, actually.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
King,
right.
can you please read the shout
Straight
out?
up King?
King?
Yeah.
That's you.
Yeah. King,
Okay.
please.
Oh, at World Class MMA Philly. I don't know if this is one of George's buddies. Is it?
It's one of the.
Probably.
I mean, I've been there, but.
Okay.
I don't really know.
Amazing
I
mindset.
do know them.
Good job, guy. Good job, boys or guys? Boys.
Amazing.
Boys.
Amazing mindset. Good job, boys.
Okay.
Who drew this thing? What is this?
Thank you.
Instagram.
Yeah. I tried to put the Instagram
That's the
logo.
Instagram logo.
Oh, what the fuck?
But it was so hard with
It's
the
alright.
marker.
Well, you need more. It's because you're using one color. So
You
it makes
should-
it-
You
yeah,
should have said good job, masculine men and Sasha.
What the fuck?
Wrestling men and Sasha.
Mm, true.
Masculine
That's
men.
what. That's what they meant. Nah,
I didn't
not
forget
to
about
you.
you, though,
Yeah,
don't worry.
nah,
I
that's
like
what they
that, Mike.
meant.
I like that.
So I think that wraps up
Wraps
this
up. Great
episode.
episode.
This
Thank you
was
so
great.
much.
Yeah,
Let's
Jesse.
go.
Yeah. Please.
Jesse,
Jesse,
thank you for coming on,
first
man.
person, please. What is our closing line?
Bag him, bag him, bag him.
Wait.
You did this once. You
Wait.
did this once. already.
Wait. It is still 11:42, which means
True.
Happy
birthday
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Michael Baker. Happy birthday to you.
Alright.
Wish him happy birthday, guys. If you made it to the
20 birthday
video,
punches.
wish him
Ready?
happy
Yeah,
birthday.
ready?
Oh.
3, 2.
A lot of birthday
If you guys want to
traditions.
come to the birthday contest,
You're invited.
Do you remember our closing line?
Is it think big, grow big?
Yes!
Yes. Let's go, Jesse. You got it.
Oh my god. 76.
Yo, give him the award. Yo, we should give out awards for this.
One for
But I didn't do the
76.
thing, did I?
No, no.
Is there a thing?
Say it, just you remember.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna give you a gift for that.
We'll
That's
shout
for
you
sure.
out. That's your
Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Jesse, thank you again for coming on.
Yeah.
It is
It was
my
a pleasure, like
Thanks.
always.
Huge thanks.
I
We're
love
definitely gonna have you on again.
Sweet. Oh, and a huge shout out to the comment that
Don't you
wanted
worry
us to talk about this.
Yeah.
That's I also
all
want to
good.
shout out the comment that gave us the suggestion.
Yes,
This is what
thank you for
happens
making
when
this
you give
happen.
us fucking suggestions. You
got an episode about it.
So please,
It's
if
such a
there's
good
anything
topic,
you wanna-
too.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, thank you
so-
for that.
Not enough people know about it.
True.
That is
Exactly.
for sure.
If Jesse
should
says
know.
it, that means
And
it's
this
true.
is the tip of the iceberg. Like there's several things that could be dived into.
Oh,
yeah,
Thing
for sure.
is, in 5 years, half the shit we said could be wrong.
That's true.
That's true.
Every 5 years, the
yeah.
updates are made
Yeah.
as far as
Time will tell.
Time
Food
will
goes.
tell.
With
No,
that being
we're right.
said, think big,
big,
grow
grow
big.
big.
I fucking